alchemist magic or simple sleight of hand? Chase this trophy long enough, hard enough, and it will affect you deeply. Maturity becomes more than a moment's masquerade. Ability eventually outsteps attitude. Seattle, perennial playoff underachievers, bounced in the first round 2 years in a row, now the loudest voice in the West. Utah, aging veterans who've never made it further than this, a conference final. Today, they're either another victim for Seattle or they take the next step toward a championship.
Is the NBA on NBC. The 1996 NBA Conference Finals.
The Seattle skyline serves as a backdrop for Key Arena, site of Game 1 in the Western Conference Finals. The Space Needle spells out the prevailing sentiment in the great Northwest, where hopes are sky high. The disappointments of the last 2 years, first-round eliminations, now are forgotten. And fans are vocal in their support of a Sonics run for the championship. No more disappointing performances. The monkey is now definitely off. The Sonics back. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Seattle. Tom Hammond and Steve Snapper Jones set for Game 1, Utah against Seattle, what should be a great Western Conference Finals series. This series likely, Steve, to turn on the marquee matchups, which also provide us a nice youngster versus veteran contrast. The first would be Karl Malone and Shawn Kemp.
Yeah, Tom, you know, the thing about Karl Malone, he is the present and most dominant force at the power forward position. He has been able to dominate every opponent and get into their minds, and that's where the young rising star Shawn Kemp is going to have to make some adjustment. He's got to stay in the game, and he's got to be the steadying force like he was against the Houston Rockets.
Karl Malone, of course, gave David Robinson fits in the Spurs series, and we asked Shawn Kemp about playing the mailman.
You cannot let him be the aggressor. You have to be the aggressor with him. You have to run him up and down the court, keep him active, make him move, and make him work. I think as I've watched that San Antonio series, I think the thing that he's did is try to outwork that big man. I think he's beat him down court about every time. He's established good post position on him. And when you let him do that every time down court, he will be the man out there.
Malone playing against Kemp will be fun to watch. The other big matchup is at the point guard, Gary Payton and John Stockton.
You know, the thing that ties these two guys together is they're competitive. They are both different kinds of players. For the Utah Jazz, John Stockton is a guy that has to control things, and he's a true grit player who's going to do whatever it takes. A very athletic Gary Payton, on the other hand, has to be disruptive, has to be the guy that drives the engine and gets him into the open court.
Marquee matchups and two teams playing right now at the top of their game. Game 1 in the Western Conference Finals from Seattle. Malone and the Jazz, Kemp and the Sonics. And we'll return to the Key Arena for the starting lineups in just a moment.
You're making the move, finding your own place. Some things work, some don't. When you find what you want, you'll know it. Got that now in a brand new beer from Miller. New Miller is brewed a whole new way, from the heart of the hops, for flavor unlike any other beer. Big flavor that goes down easy. Brand new Miller beer. Reach for what's out there.
Just what you need from the coupe that takes your breath away. more oxygen. Introducing the all-new Mitsubishi Eclipse convertible. It has quite an effect on drivers, too. The new Eclipse convertible from Mitsubishi.
It's mine. It's all mine.
They have now entered
What? This is impossible.
entering Yamato.
How can they do this?
Madras.
Stop.
Abu Dhabi.
Stop.
Every day, MasterCard opens over 3,000 new acceptance locations worldwide.
Oh, at least we still have Cochabamba.
MasterCard, it's smart money.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by New Miller Beer, the brand new beer from Miller with big flavor that goes down easy. By MasterCard. MasterCard, it's smart money. And by the all-new Eclipse Spider Convertible. It's fun you can depend on from Mitsubishi.
Rainy afternoon in Seattle. The temperature outside the Key Arena, 55 degrees. Let's look at the starting lineups. First for the visiting Utah Jazz. In the backcourt, Jeff Hornacek, the outside shooting threat, and the great John Stockton, NBA's all-time assist leader. Felton Spencer, the 7-footer, is the center. Chris Morris has provided a big lift during the playoffs, and Karl Malone averaging 26 a game, second leading scorer in the playoffs this season. And for the Supersonics, in the backcourt, Gary Payton, the point guard, the NBA thefts leader, and the outside shooting Hersey Hawkins. Irvin Johnson is 6'11", the starting center. Shawn Kemp, a force, averaging 20 points a game, and the 6th leading rebounder so far in the playoffs with 11 boards a contest. And Detlef Schrempf, who is hitting 51% of his shots from the floor, averaging 17 points a game. Hannah Storm, what about an update on the injury to Karl Malone?
Well, Tom, as you can see, that was a rather scary fall at the time. Karl tried to break his fall in that Game 6 against San Antonio, and he jammed his left wrist. Now, the Jazz are a no-excuses kind of team. They don't like to talk about injuries, and naturally, Karl told me that he feels just fine. But you'll notice when this game starts, he has the index finger on that left hand very heavily taped. Luckily, that's not his shooting hand. As for John Stockton, he's been playing the entire playoffs with a strained left hamstring, and that injury on that leg was aggravated when he actually got kneed by David Robinson in Game 6. He has a bruised quadricep muscle on that left leg, so all sorts of problems there. But Coach Jerry Sloan told me he'll never take himself out of a game, so he says he has to watch John very closely. And as for the Sonics, unfortunately, the week off did nothing to help Nate McMillan, who has a badly bruised knuckle on the index finger of his right hand. That is his shooting hand. He told me that it has affected him significantly as he has tried to shoot in workouts this week. So some nagging injuries to deal with, Tom, but usually adrenaline takes care of some of those in a game like this. Tom?
All right, Hannah, thank you very much. So both teams basically at full strength despite the nagging injuries. And there's John Stockton. This is his 101st playoff game. That is the most for any NBA player without appearing in the NBA Finals. He'd like to change all that this season. Strong officiating crew is signed today. Danny Crawford, Eddie Rush, and Dick Bavetta. Well, teams that win the opening game go on usually to take the series. So this game one, all important. Utah Jazz have had their problems on the road. They just played Thursday night, winning the San Antonio series, while the Sonics have had a lot of rest. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in this game one.
As we look at the principles in this ball game, the one thing we do know as the crowd gets into it, that the edge belongs to the Utah Jazz. That they beat Portland and then went right into the opponent's arena and the Alamo Dome and took out San Antonio. Seattle has been off. They've been ready to play, but they've lost that edge and that game rhythm. They've got to get it back, while Karl Malone and the Utah Jazz feel they're on top of their game. They'll rest when the season's over.
Two former players now squared off as coaches, George Karl and Jerry Sloan, as John Stockton chases the ball down in the game one of the Western Conference Finals underway. The youth of the Sonics, the veterans of the Jazz. Hornacek, that's a long-range two. Jeff Hornacek, who has been hitting about 51% of his shots through the playoffs, opens with a bucket.
In the Houston Rockets series, we saw the Sonics have terrific outside shooting, get contributions from everyone, but they didn't have to stay a lot of the time in the half court. When they did, they had two people helping them out, Gary Payton, Shawn Kemp.
Payton misses with a shot over John Stockton, out of bounds to Utah. George Karl still tieless, as Hannah Storm reported on Showtime. But he's only worn a tie once. That was on Mother's Day. The rest of the time without a tie, and plans to continue that way as far as the Sonics are alive.
There's the cutting Chris Morris, and they get their first two possessions and scored. What makes Utah so tough? They're so efficient. They don't make a lot of mistakes with the ball. You have to be awake on defense all the time, or they get easy scores.
Here's Kemp against Malone. Turnaround is there. First bucket for the Sonics, Shawn Kemp.
What you cannot do if you're playing for the Sonics is let them do what they want. Payton steps in, makes a nice steal.
NBA steals leader does his thing. It results in a Hawkins layup to tie the game.
Now George Karl tells his team, come out and double up on John Stockton, give him a different look. The first two times, actually first three possessions, they let them do whatever they want, and they scored twice.
Kicked ball, Payton kicked it. They'll recycle the 24-second clock.
When you watch Seattle play and they play well, one thing that Shawn Kemp does is play with control, within himself. When he is out of control, he struggles, the team struggles. And they have got to see Shawn Kemp stay with that attitude.
I was always, as usual, amazed as Karl Malone hits from outside. Amazed at how hard Shawn Kemp works in the pregame warm-up.
Yeah, he comes out and he works about an hour before the game, and he works on his perimeter game, and at that time, he can't miss a shot. The question is he working too hard, and is he leaving all of it out there in warm-up?
Hawkins left Hornacek, but couldn't finish. Spencer lost it, then Morris takes it away from Hawkins. Utah has not missed 3 for 3 to open the game. Malone in the low post, guarded by Irvin Johnson.
90% of the plays go through Karl Malone, and 90% of the time the ball is in the hand of John Stockton. So it's not very hard to figure out what Utah is going to do.
First Jazz miss. Kemp.
That is the shot he was working on an hour before the game. We saw him do the same thing in the regular season against San Antonio. Couldn't make that shot. It looks like he may have saved some time.
Tie the game with just over 9 to play first quarter. Hornacek finds Malone. This is the tempo Utah prefers to play, the half-court team. Off-balance shot by Malone. Spencer had it for a moment. Swiped by Payton. Trent spotted the three.
The wide open three you cannot give the Sonics, particularly a player like Detlef Schrempf. So you got to be up and in his face.
First lead for Seattle.
They said that was a two.
They did. And Karl Malone ties it up. Since it was a 2, Malone with an easy one underneath. And Karl has 4. Payton looked down to see if he was behind the arc, then passed up the shot.
Against Houston, Payton was a guy that could make a shot almost at will. He started out 1 for 2. Irvin Johnson keeps that one alive. We'll find out whether Payton has the same confidence. Morris steal.
Chris Morris against Kemp. Chris Morris with a steal and a throwdown to give Utah a 2-point edge.
Now, Tom, you know horses. We had 2 thoroughbreds running there. Both of those guys are high-wire acts, and Chris Morris is a different player than he was with the New Jersey Nets.
Change in attitude, a change in scenery, responsible for that attitude adjustment. And there's Morris with a foul as Schrempf makes his move. First foul of the game.
Chris Morris has never been a guy that's been questioned about his talent. They've always questioned his work ethic, perhaps sometimes his shot selection, but skill and leaping ability, he's right up there with the best.
Schrempf misses. Malone collars the rebound and threw it to Payton. And then Malone blocked the shot. They'll call it goaltending. Credit it to Gary Payton. Payton showing why he was Defensive Player of the Year with another steal, and then he gets the goaltending call. He has 2 steals.
He laid it right out there for Payton, who's quick in the passing lanes. The thing that you like about Gary Payton as a defender, he can go down 94 feet and really shadow his man, or he can come back and make a quick play. Only 2 other players do that as well, and that's Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan.
Malone misses. Johnson the rebound. Payton pushing for Seattle. Irvin Johnson passed up the outside shot. Instead, Kemp whips it to Payton, who made a nice catch. Let fly. No good. And over the back foul. Loose ball on Shawn Kemp. First on Kemp. And we'll take a timeout at the 6:48 mark in a 10-10 game.
NBA.com. Log on and get connected.
Just what you need from the coupe that takes your breath away. More oxygen. Introducing the all-new Mitsubishi Eclipse convertible. It has quite an effect on drivers, too. The new Eclipse convertible from Mitsubishi.
I used to have dandruff, and I heard it all. Hey, Snowman, Mr. Flake Maker, how many inches are they forecasting off your head today, Frosty? Fluffhead, Puffhead, Powderhead, Howdy Dusty, whoa! Thankfully, I found out about this, Head and Shoulders. You see, regular shampoos just rinse flakes away so they can come back. But Head and Shoulders help stop flakes before they start. So now, people call me the god of great hair. Okay, but they could. Head and Shoulders. Great hair can't have flakes.
What day helps your small business grow?
It's Friday. Are you free?
Help your business do more business with Sprint's amazing offer. Friday's free for a full year. So get busy.
Same time next week.
And watch your small business grow.
And do lunch. It's Friday.
And grow. Call 1-800-598-5000 for Friday's free. It's the busiest day of the week.
It's Friday. Are you free?
Only from Sprint Business.
Hey, what's up, man? All right.
Who is that?
Oh, man, check it out. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. Stay cool.
Jazz and the Sonics tied early at 10. During the regular season, Seattle won 3 of the 4 meetings against the Utah Jazz. Utah took the first, and then 3 straight by Seattle. And Coach George Karl says there's some history to this Utah-Seattle rivalry.
The matchup between Utah and Seattle started 5 years ago. We played them the first year. They destroyed us. They beat us 4 out of 5. And they beat us up so badly, both mentally and physically, that the first thing we hired was a strength coach that summer, because we said we're not going to get beat up like that again. And then I think the next year we got them. We got them down. We got them 3-2. Great series. I think we've played since then. But the rivalry in season, they beat us 3 out of 4 last year. We beat them 3 out of 4 this year. All close games. It's going to be a tremendously intense series.
And there is George Karl. Is it just me, or is that collar a little looser than it was the last 2 years?
Well, there's a lot of things that have gone out of George Karl since he got out of that first round, and a few extra pounds is certainly one of them. But he feels that his team is playing very well. Another nice move by Chris Morris on the inside.
George Karl saying those 2 first-round eliminations the last 2 years affected him so much that he sort of had to back off his intensity. The clue came when he saw how his despondency affected his family. Shrimp misses from outside. Offensive board and a putback by Irvin Johnson.
Every point that they get from Irvin Johnson is a bonus. He's in there to rebound, defend, run the floor, try to tire the opposing center out, but both teams shooting red hot. This shows you just how efficient the Utah Jazz can be. Karl Malone with his 6-pointer of the first quarter.
And the assist from John Stockton to put the Jazz back up 2. Shrimp posting Morris, whipped right around him and reversed it through. Quick move to the hoop by Detlef Shrimp. He has 4.
Fingers telling John that he wants the ball. They try for another layup, but Stockton couldn't cash out of it. He's saying he got it.
Kemp came over on him, made him change the shot. Stockton wanted a foul, no call. Here's Payton trying to post Stockton up. Has not been successful so far. He's made only 1 shot. Johnson left open, misses it. And the rebound, Malone, though Kemp had him blocked off. Malone went up to get it. Morris for 3. And the board, Kemp. Shrimp had a step on the defense. Didn't get the ball. Now does and draws the foul.
The Sonics would like it up and down. They'd like to be able to get someone down the floor like Detlef Shrimp or Shawn Kemp to post early and to get a cheap scoring opportunity. As you see George Karl talking game plan situation with Gary Payton. Detlef Shrimp that time was down on the post, and Chris Morris gambled. That caused the Utah Jazz to have to foul to try to keep him from getting the layup.
And it was Stockton that committed his first foul. Stockton takes a seat with Howard Isley on to replace him. As Shrimp hits 2, he has 6 in the early going. And Seattle with the lead, 16-14.
Now the Sonics are going to get more aggressive, and they're not going to let Howard Isley get his hands on the ball. Payton came all the way down, denied him position. They're going to force someone else to set him up. Chris Morris trying to go on his own.
Draws the foul. After that hot start, Utah had missed 3 in a row. Morris takes it to the rim and draws the foul. It's on Shrimp.
This is what Chris Morris has been used to doing. I take the ball and I make a play for myself. So this is not a new situation for him. He would love to have the opportunity to go more one-on-one. They have contained him and tried to make the game easier for him and not have to rely so much on his athleticism. But you ask the San Antonio Spurs, if you want to get lit up by a guy, don't look the other way on Chris Morris.
A rare miss. He's hitting 80% of his free throws in the playoffs. And remember what he did to Shawn Elliott in that Spurs series. Morris in his 8th season from Auburn, averaging 7 points and 4 rebounds so far in the playoffs. High arching free throw, second one good. It's a 1-point game.
Isley trying to give Payton a little dose of his own medicine and a little bother. Got a little pop in the chest, and that's how he got free.
Just like you drew it up. Nate McMillan on, gets a quick assist. McMillan playing with a sore knuckle. Hannah Storm was talking to him about it before the game and says it has affected his shooting. There's Payton with a push. Good call. Payton gave him a shove, gave Isley a shove with his hands. Doesn't like it, but that's his first foul.
Well, actually, Payton has decided I'm going to get physical with the young guy. There's a little pop right there. Get off me. And now he's going to see, and Isley steps up and tries to go with Shawn Kemp. Karl Malone doesn't need help. You know, right now, it's the young fella that needs all the help. He's got to stay on the veteran Gary Payton.
Isley's in his 2nd season from Boston College, joined Utah back in December as a free agent out of the CBA after he'd been waived by Minnesota.
There are very few guys that catch and shoot any better than Hornacek, and if he gets in a rhythm, he's a deadly assassin. He'll be around the entire afternoon, and Nate McMillan better get up.
Stripped by Malone, but grabbed by Sam Perkins, who's on for the Sonics, and then Malone intercepts the McMillan pass. Hornacek fouled in backcourt by Nate McMillan.
Nate McMillan telling Dick Bavetta, this is the playoffs. We're allowed to be a little bit more physical.
You sound like Bill Walton.
No, this is a foul. He stepped right in trying to reach in, but, you know, he's saying, normally, you all don't call that. And he's not happy with the call. Nate McMillan has improved dramatically at the offensive end, particularly in just his willingness to take shots. I'm surprised he's shooting 65% from three-point line, but he is primarily a defender, a guy that's disruptive, and he's got a nasty look on his face.
He does. I wouldn't want to tangle with him next time down court. Hornacek has been almost automatic in the playoffs, hitting 94% of his free throws. He nets 2 there to put Utah up 1.
Tempo of the game so far in favor of the Utah Jazz, trying to post Payton. Again, he's inside. Isley's got to do a better job.
Taking Isley to school here. Stockton on the bench, and Howard Isley with his hands full against Gary Payton. Hornacek, quick shot, off the mark. Shrimp. Blocked. Detlef had his shot or pass, whichever, blocked. And Isley takes it the other way for Utah. Hornacek, floater.
Hornacek makes more of those tough floating shots than any other guard in the league. He's got 8 here in the first quarter, and the Utah Jazz back on top. So he's bouncing back and forth as they come in to Shawn Kemp.
Hornacek leads all scorers as Kemp muscles that one through. That's his 6th point. Seattle by 1. Big guns for Utah have been Hornacek and Morris with 8 and 7 respectively.
They run at Isley. I think they know Isley's certainly a little bit more nervous. A touch pass, but Felton Spencer never could react to the ball.
Spencer had a free path to the basket, but it was not going that way. Hornacek pitches it out of bounds. Close game early. Kemp and the Sonics up 1.
This is for my man Sam. Sam I am, the Rocket Man. How could you stop it, man? 2 rings on my hand when I drop it in. Mr. Clutch Double Deluxe, Butter Touch. The Mr. Buzzer Beater, the 24-second clock cheater. My jumper's deeper than the creature in your late night feature. You just got took when I shook with no looks. Put the points in the books, leaving you stranded. It's the Reebok Playoff Bandit. This is my planet, Tim, baby.
To help you perform better, get your Reebok shoes fitted at the athlete's foot.
So you do this every day, huh? Poor baby. And it's just a guy thing, right? That's not so bad. You guys are so sensitive. Ouch.
For the man with sensitive skin, Schick introduces the all-new Tracer FX.
Is this the sensitive part? Right here?
With its unique skin guard designed for a smooth shave with less irritation. The shaving system for sensitive skin. Schick Tracer FX.
You the sensitive type? I like that.
Budweiser.
Alright, we're jamming. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, and I hope you like jamming too.
Dr. Catherine Homrick cares for some very demanding patients in upstate New York.
I drive a lot. Some days I'll drive up to 300 miles a day to see my clients.
Fortunately, this veterinarian drives the reliable Mitsubishi Galant.
My Galant makes my life a lot easier. With the weather being unpredictable, it's real important that I have a dependable vehicle.
The Mitsubishi Galant, a car you can depend on, even when it's raining cats and dogs. The Galant from Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
Oh, this is big, really big. Jim Carrey big. Jim Carrey hosts Saturday Night Live. It's the biggest show yet. And you know, size matters.
Throughout his 11-year career, Karl Malone has been one of the most durable and consistently high-level players in the NBA. And now at 32 years old, we ask him if there was some urgency with that hope to get to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, you want to get it done now. You know, you want to know what it's like, you know, to get there and play in a championship game. And, you know, it's kind of like you start off in the first round and then a couple more media people come. And then you get to the next round and some more come. Then all of a sudden seem like you get to the big show. Who knows? So I want to get there. I don't want to play all of my career and play through the aches and pains and not know what it's like, you know, to be in that atmosphere. But it's not going to be one of those things that if it don't happen and I retire from this game, I'm not going to have the fact in my mind that, hey, I didn't have a successful career because I didn't win the big one.
Malone with 6 points here in the early going. Picked off that short shot, but then the Jazz turn it back over to Seattle. There's what he's done today. Only 3 Jazz players have scored, Hornacek, Morris, and Karl Malone.
Balance and better balance has gone to the Seattle Sonics, and Shawn Kemp working inside and staying under control. He scores for the 8th time here in the first quarter of play.
Both teams shooting extremely well. Seattle is now 11 for 19, and Utah 9 of 15.
Sam Perkins is coming to the game whenever Karl Malone is on that side of the floor. If he can't turn in, that's usually what he's going to do, fade away. Sonics looking to push it.
Antoine Carr and Adam Keefe are out there for Utah as Perkins misses a 3. Chased down by McMillan. Kemp against Malone. Quick spin to the baseline and a travel.
John Stockton coming back in the ball game. Howard Isley has given him just about his normal resting time. They've lost a little bit of their edge at the offensive end. Stockton will go out, try to come back and get them reset. The guy that will probably do the cleanup on that front line is Adam Keefe. He's a real good garbage man, and they've got to always keep a body on him.
Frank Rakowski on the floor for Seattle as Hornacek misses a 3. Perkins the rebound. Rakowski on for Shawn Kemp.
When Perkins goes down on the post, who's ever defending, he's got to remember, this guy's left-handed. Most of the time, they let him end up going right. That's the way you want to take him. Tough shot.
Malone pulls it down after Keefe kept it momentarily alive in the final seconds of the first period.
Now you notice that Payton's attitude changes about how he wants to challenge John Stockton versus Howard Isley. He's trying to make sure that Stockton won't get by, won't get a passing lane. Karl Malone right at the bucket.
Yeah, he had a lane to the bucket to lay it in. Final seconds. Shrimp launches a 3. No good as Malone grabs it and the horn sounds. So a close game at the end of 1. Shawn Kemp and Karl Malone, that marquee matchup just about dead even. Malone a slight edge on the boards. At the end of the first period, game 1 in the Western Conference Finals, Seattle leads Utah 24-23.
For years, we have watched the skies and waited.
The signal. Definitely sky-based.
But we never imagined we could be looking for something.
If they're not here now, they will be soon.
Who?
That's already found us.
What is it? What's happening?
Stop watching the skies.
As much as you think you know, you don't know the half of it.
Start watching your back. Charlie Sheen, The Arrival, rated PG-13. Starts May 31st at theaters everywhere.
Hungry? Eat 'em up.
Eat 'em up, eat 'em up. Hungry, hungry.
Why wait? Announcing Goodyear's Race Days Tire Sale. Save up to 25% on all Goodyear Eagles and all Goodyear Wranglers. Other Goodyear tires from $19.99. Get to Goodyear and save. And ask about Infinite Tread with a lifetime Tread Life limited warranty.
Black & Decker has just made jobs around the house a lot easier to do with the VersaPack interchangeable battery system. With VersaPack, you get more for your money because one set of rechargeable batteries powers over 20 different Black & Decker cordless tools. VersaPack from Black & Decker. It's how things get done.
Dr. Catherine Homrick cares for some very demanding patients in upstate New York.
I drive a lot. Some days I'll drive up to 300 miles a day to see my clients.
Fortunately, this veterinarian drives the reliable Mitsubishi Galant.
My Galant makes my life a lot easier. With the weather being unpredictable, it's real important that I have a dependable vehicle.
The Mitsubishi Galant, a car you can depend on, even when it's raining cats and dogs. The Galant from Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles.
You're watching the NBA on NBC. The 1996 NBA playoffs.
Coming out of Trinity JC, Shawn Kemp just oozed with potential, but it wasn't until the Houston Rockets series that he finally realized what that potential was going to be. Versatile, outside, inside, able to run the floor, steal a basketball. Shawn Kemp is the total package for George Karl.
His versatility never questioned, just his maturity, and that seems to have come around too. Ready to start the second quarter? Let's go to Hannah Storm for a report.
Well, Tom, George Karl told his team they've been a little lackadaisical in the first quarter. He wants to up the tempo of this ball game, wants his team to start running more. On the other side, Utah concentrating on getting some of their shooters open when John Stockton is trapped, not necessarily out on the floor, but in the lane and some other spots to give Stockton some options when they're making him give up the ball. Tom?
All right, Hannah, there's John Stockton. 4 assists for him so far as Payton misses the 3. Neither team has hit a three-point shot yet. 0 for 2 for Utah, 0 for 3 Seattle.
Now you see how deep John Stockton has gotten in setting up their offense. Now if they think that they're going to run out of that against the Utah Jazz, they're sadly mistaken. They got to force them to set up higher, and they can't allow Stockton to work against the clock and make shots like that. Otherwise, they end up taking it out of the net.
Pretty shot by Stockton. Right over Frank Murkowski.
They want to exploit this matchup right here. Adam Keefe against Detlef Schrempf out on the perimeter. Keefe has got a nervous body energy when he's guarding Detlef Schrempf. You notice that coach just saved me. He put Vinny Askew in the game. I think I can play against Vinny.
The way Detlef's been playing, anybody to be nervous trying to check him. He's been sensational. The super sub Brian Russell is in the game for Utah too, and Greg Ostertag is off for the warm-up set to come in. Murkowski a 3, bad-looking shot off Sam Perkins and out of bounds. The Brickowski on that shot.
Well, Frank Murkowski is a guy that is a physical player, but has learned how to improve his shooting range, and teams give him that shot. He's shooting 40% out there. He'll make it, but this is not the Houston Rockets series. They gotta step up and make some shots now to reestablish the confidence that they built in Houston by making all those threes. Ostertag in for the first time.
Stockton, the only starter on the floor for Utah. Partially blocked. Stockton got it back and scored with 1 to shoot. Jerry Sloan telling us they don't mind getting the ball in Stockton's hands late in the shot clock. A perfect example there.
2 times now, Stockton has been able to get something done for them against the shot clock. Payton trying to come back and get working for the Sonics. Charge.
Sam Perkins with the offensive foul. Adam Keefe set up to take the charge.
John Stockton doesn't give up on plays and makes the most out of situation. Here's an example. Shot blocked, gets it back, aware of the clock, throws it in, and says something to the official on the way. I do get fouled in this game.
What else could he do? 3-point lead for Stockton and the Jazz on a 6-0 run.
Can't give him that kind of a lane.
The big dog powers to the hoop.
Here is their bench stepping up here early, and Antoine Carr the first to score.
Jerry Sloan says the bench has been decisive, and they've given him a 5-point lead. Another brick from Brickowski. Payton saves it. Kemp trying to post up Carr. Carr with a big forearm in his back. Kemp gave it up. Askew.
Remember, Hannah told us that the Sonics might be a little nervous, a little tentative. We're seeing it from the guys that are coming off the bench. Askew gets a pop.
Keefe with a screen, can't roll to the basket. Here's Russell. Keefe has position on a mismatch with Payton, but they couldn't get him the ball. He had Payton fronting him, had a clear path to the basket for the lob, but they couldn't get it to him. Timeout 9:16 showing the NBA on NBC.
Michael and the Bulls, Shaq and the Magic. The showdown begins Sunday on NBC.
Like all Americans, I like big things. Big prairies. Big forests and mountains. Big wheat fields. And everything else.
Io c'ho molto tempo di Mona Lisa.
Io c'ho molto tempo di Mona Lisa.
Pardon, vous me protégez? Pardon, vous me protégez? Good.
This year's Dream Team is learning a few phrases in other languages to make the visiting teams feel more at home.
Okay.
Sprite salutes their effort.
Belle brique. Belle brique.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As our new spokesman, Michael will deliver the LDDS WorldCom message.
When we see commercial. Commercial? But we had something a little different in mind.
Hi, this is Michael Jordan for LDDS WorldCom Long Distance.
Michael Jordan, no go?
We have our own fiber optic network. We have a calling card, broadcast fax, international services, conference calling. This is Michael Jordan. Right, I'm Robert E. Lee. This is Michael Jordan for
LDDS WorldCom, telecommunication service that's one-on-one.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by McDonald's, the official break of the NBA. Have you had your break today? By Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by Black & Decker, it's how things get done.
Welcome back to Seattle, where Brian Russell and the Utah Jazz have the lead. Russell, during the regular season, averaged just less than 3 points a game, but he's been a force in the playoffs. Who is this guy?
Came from Long Beach State. I was on the end of the bench half the season, and coach just gave me a shot. I didn't think I was going to play at all, and I was like, come on, I need to get in here to give us a boost. And coach called my name, and I was ready. Yeah, I see myself as a motivator. Not as only for the bench, but the starters too, because when I come in there, I tell them, hey, I'm coming in to pick up the intensity, so y'all get behind me and let's do this. And the only thing that disappointed me is people still call me Byron.
Well, that's his first name is spelled B-R-Y-O-N, Brian, but inevitably the Y gets transposed. Even in the newspaper here yesterday, they were calling him Byron. And he said his mom must have wanted it to be different. He wished she hadn't. Ostertag misses, and the rebound, Shawn Kemp.
The Jazz only have one starter in the ball game. That's John Stockton. So he's got to make it happen for Russell, Keith, Ostertag, and Carr. And right now he's fighting Gary Payton for a low box position.
Payton and Stockton collide, and the foul on John Stockton, his second.
Now, it was very easy for Gary Payton to shake Howard Isley. He got physical with him. Well, with Stockton, you can get physical, but he's going to retaliate. He's going to come back. The look on his face says, I need one of those calls.
Stockton returning to his home state. Of course, played at Gonzaga in Spokane. And Gary Payton, he too has come of age.
He's gotten better. Regular season, very solid. Then the leading scorer against the Kings, and then he boosted that against the Houston Rockets. He shot 60% from outside the arc for most of that series. He can't shoot that well from the line.
Today, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals for Payton as Ostertag lumbers to the hoop. Utah continues to lead. Look at that, 4 of 6 from the floor. Traveling call, Vincent Askew, something throughout the playoffs we've seen enforced, the traveling call. Is it tough for the players to adjust? I mean, they get away with a lot during the regular season, no question, and now tightened up in the playoffs.
I don't think so, but it's so obvious. I mean, some of these lanes are there, and the players want to get there in such a hurry that they don't put the ball down. They shuffle their feet, and they're exposed. They're way out on the floor.
6th Seattle turnover. Utah's turned it over 4 times.
Again, the clock in Stockton's hands as it's going down at 4.
Let a 3 go with 2 to shoot, and Kemp, good position on Ostertag for the rebound. Burkowski posting Carr. Antoine reached in, got the foul. First on the big dog.
It looked like they both got at the ball at the same time, but underneath you saw Antoine Carr with a hold. That's where the foul was, so they get a new 24 on McMillan.
Missed a 3, and Seattle still firing blanks from three-point range. Against Houston, they hit 46% from the arc.
You're talking about a madman on the defensive end. Russell was rotating all over the place, but couldn't get to Hersey Hawkins in time. So Hawkins gets his second hoop of the game, 4 points in it.
That's the lead to 2. Ostertag a screen for Stockton. Kemp picked him up on the switch. Russell. Tough shot. Brian Russell over Hersey Hawkins.
You know, that's the beauty of the NBA and the playoffs is you find a hero, and that guy's able to stay in a groove for 14, 15 games and make his thing, and everyone's saying, what a great player Russell is.
And Hawkins answers for Seattle, taking Russell to school.
Hersey Hawkins said coming into this ball game he was going to have to be aggressive at the offensive end, so he's amping up his game right now.
Russell for three. Rebounded by Kemp, who leads the break. Here's McMillan. Kemp collides with Carr. Great fake by Shawn Kemp. Carr committed and took a shot right in those protective goggles. Russell with a hit. But Hawkins answers for Seattle. And it's a two-point game.
Don't forget, Gracie, this one is a par 5.
Oh, dear, I better give it all I've got.
O'Doul's Scratch Golf. Win any of 21,000 prizes instantly in 12-pack cans of O'Doul's.
I want a tailor-made burner bubble.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You need it. You drive like an old lady.
Thanks.
Hey, I really spanked that one.
O'Doul's non-alcohol brew.
On the information superhighway, you need more than the latest technology. You need a very powerful drive. The Chevy Blazer with the Vortec V6. It's nice to know it's there.
Okay, fine.
You know, it's true. Pickle, we do mature faster than boys.
Introducing the burger with the grown-up taste. McDonald's Arch Deluxe.
Stockton the ball. And a Jazz run. Stockton Bellamy. What a pass. What a pass. You gotta love it, baby. Jordan. For three to tie it. He does. Unbelievable.
Every play going the Magic's way.
Ryan Shaw. He'll challenge.
A la B. Shaw. How did he get there?
Oh, the highlight reel.
Oh, you gotta love that action.
Pato finished. Welcome to the playoffs.
Hale Irwin, Raymond Floyd, Chichi Rodriguez, Senior Open champion Tom Weiskopf, and more. The Belt South Senior Classic at Opryland next weekend on NBC.
And a storm back at the Key Arena in Seattle, where the Sonics have trailed by 2 points to the visiting Utah Jazz in Game 1 of this Western Conference Final. Now, George Karl, who has won over 70% of his games as head coach of the Sonics, attributes some of that to his superstitions. He's one of the most superstitious coaches in the NBA. This is something that he took from his old playing days in the ABA when he used to have to wrap up his valuables and put them into a bin. He wraps up his wallet in Pro Wrap, which is usually used to wrap ankles before the game. He tosses his wallet to his equipment man, Mark St. Ives. Mark has to actually put that wallet in his right pocket, and he has to catch the wallet. If he doesn't catch the wallet, they lose. It's happened twice during the last 4 years of George Karl's tenure. Something seems to be working for him. He just got a guarantee on his contract for next season, Tom.
All right, Anna. The question is, does Shawn Kemp wrap his wallet, and is there enough Pro Wrap in the locker room to do it? No more than 5 points has separated these two teams through the first half with just over 6 minutes remaining.
Clock and Stockton shooting a three. They don't get it, but Russell makes a save. So Utah made the defense of the Sonics work for the 24, but they turn it over with Ostertag.
Ostertag throws it away. The two teams combined are 0 for 11 from the three-point arc today.
Nate McMillan said, wait a minute, what about illegal defenses? Stockton goes back to help out against Vincent Askew. Shot clock at 5.
There's the double, 2 to shoot. Hawkins fake, fires, had a foot on the stripe. That's a 2-point bucket, but Hawkins right against the shot clock nails number 8.
When Hawkins is like this, the saying here is feed the hawk, and we'll find out in the last 5:24 of this first half of play if he continues to see the ball.
Malone misses.
Now, give some credit to the Sonic defense. The Utah Jazz have become a little bit more perimeter-oriented. They opened the first quarter with nothing but layups and easy scoring opportunities. Seattle's tightened up a little bit. They have to go outside in.
Keith doubling down on Shawn Kemp. Ball sails out of bounds. Last touch by Utah. 7 to shoot.
Oster tagged down. Antoine Carr back in. Hornacek in.
7 to shoot. Seattle is on a 5-0 run.
Offensive foul. Rakowski.
Frank Rakowski called for the illegal pick. His first foul.
Now, Rakowski does not mind laying a lick on somebody that's in the opposing uniform.
He came over before the game started and said, why do you call me a hatchet man? A hatchet man, Snapper.
Well, you get what you earn. I don't start with that, but he always brings me to the fact that he's a very physical player. Hornacek. Travel.
Nullifies the basket. Utah has missed 4 shots in a row and turned it over. Don't forget, tomorrow the long-awaited Orlando-Chicago series begins. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Shaq in Orlando, Michael in Chicago. What a great series that will be. Kemp against Malone. Pretty shot. Game high score, as you see, with 11. And Seattle is up by 3.
Well, Shawn Kemp has played well within himself. Now the run is in favor of the Sonics, and it's up to Utah to answer. Russell, who is a slashing, driving player, trying to make it happen. They get an air ball from Malone.
One of the Seattle traps caused that sequence, and Utah was hoping to exploit those traps for an open shot. Didn't get a very good one. Hawkins, the first 3-pointer of the game. Sonics looking to feed the Hawk. They've scored 10 in a row, capped by this 3-pointer, and Seattle has its biggest lead.
Oh, Bill, did I tell you what Patty said that Rachel heard about what Mark said about Patty? Well, Bill, are you listening? Anyway, Patty ran into Rachel, who had run into Mark at a party. So, according to Bill, are you listening to me or to the game?
5 ticks left on the clock. Missiles down by 1. Just a reminder, this game brought to you by Miller Lite. When you've got the great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good. Smith inbounds to Wakeman through the paint. Tomahawk jam. Yes!
If you think stress is tough on you, consider your engine. Traffic jams, towing and hauling, even idling can lead to damaging wear. That's why Castrol is introducing Syntec Blend, the only synthetic blend that combines Castrol conventional oil and Syntec molecular components for greater protection than conventional oil in severe driving conditions, because too much stress can be fatal. Castrol Syntec Blend, added protection for severe driving conditions.
These days, it seems we have more and more on our minds, which means we have more and more to forget about. Hey, we could all use a car like Chevy Cavalier. If you're low on oil, it reminds you. If you leave your dome light on, it remembers to turn it off. Heck, even if you forget to lock your doors, you're still protected by Cavalier's theft deterrent system. We've all got enough on our minds. We need a car we can afford and forget about.
Genuine Chevrolet.
The cars more Americans trust.
Sunday at 2:30 Eastern, the one you've been waiting for. Michael Jordan and the Bulls. The record-breaking season means nothing without a ring. Shaq and the Magic. Last year they knocked out the Bulls on their way to the finals. Now the rematch for the Eastern Conference crown. Plus at halftime, the NBA Draft Lottery. Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on NBC.
Greetings once again, Hoop fans. Coming up on the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll take a look at Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Magic and Bulls get underway tomorrow here on NBC. We'll have reports from both Chicago and Orlando. Plus, we'll hear from Julius Erving and Peter Bessie on the first half of the Jazz and the Sonics. Right now, Seattle is on a 10-0 run. They lead by 6. And back we go to Tom Hammond, Steve Jones, and Hannah Storm.
All right, Bob, thanks. And the Sonics lead because the Hawk is hot.
When Hershey Hawkins gets in a good shooting rhythm, they want to feed him. They want to find him. You can see doesn't have quite the control of the ball until it gets into the shooting position, and then he's deadly. Every time he's had to make some sort of an adjustment, but he is zeroed in. When he dials in like this, you'll hear him say, feed the Hawk.
That's the first three-pointer of the game, and he has 9 in the quarter, 11 for the contest. Utah's missed their last 5 shots.
When they get in trouble, they come back to their money man, Karl Malone, bounces one in.
Soft touch of Karl Malone. He has 10.
The shot by Sam Perkins is only typical of what he was doing in warm-up. He made 10, 12 straight three-pointers, and then he had to sit down. So now he's hot again, and we'll find out whether he keeps shooting from deep. But Jerry Sloan told his team, get back to that high percentage stuff. Drive the ball to the basket, turnover Malone.
Throw it right to Shawn Kemp. Kemp with a head of steam, lays it in. A 15-2 run by the Sonics have their biggest lead. Malone, Hornacek.
This is a critical stretch for the Utah Jazz. They want to stay in contact. They don't want to see the lead get to double figures. It's been a tight ball game through the first 24. Shawn Kemp again.
Jams in the face of Karl Malone. And the pace of the game in Utah's favor early has swung in Seattle's direction.
Sonics got Utah playing outside in, and then they were able to get the ball and run. They've been able to quick shoot it, make some turnovers happen for them. Karl Malone again.
Tough shot over Sam Perkins. Karl Malone now with a dozen. Let's see if the Sonics go to Shawn Kemp. He's hit all 7 of his shots from the floor. We're in the final 2 minutes of the half.
A different Shawn Kemp, because in other playoff games, Shawn Kemp has taken himself out by getting himself in foul trouble. But he stayed under control at both ends of the floor, not getting fouls in a helping position, not getting offensive fouls. Shrimp.
Spinning to the basket and drawing the foul. Brian Russell.
Shawn Kemp and Karl Malone will go at each other the entire 7-game series, and I'm saying that it's going to be a 7-game series. Karl Malone knows how to answer the other way. Both of them are going to have that kind of control and poise in order for their team to win.
Detlef misses that free throw. And don't forget, tomorrow on the Prudential Halftime Report during the Magic Bulls game, we'll have exclusive coverage of the NBA Draft Lottery for you to see which team will get the top pick. The NBA Draft Lottery tomorrow during halftime of the Magic Bulls game.
Tom, it's a big question mark. I mean, there's a lot of great young talent out there, but no one knows who number 1 is. So tomorrow will be very interesting. We'll at least know who has that choice.
Underline the young in that young talent statement. Morris missing from outside. Perkins clears. Seattle has made 8 in a row, and Payton has it rejected by Morris into the hands of Perkins.
Hawkins, he hasn't been able to control the ball, but he has been able to shoot it. And he was looking to get that one off. Nice move, Shrimp, foul, Chris Morris.
And a throwdown by Kemp that won't count, but nevertheless was entertaining as Shrimp with the up and under move gets Morris to commit his second foul.
Morris reaches in right at the end as Shrimp makes a nice move, and you watch Shawn Kemp just grab it and snatch it through.
You ought to give him something for that.
Well, those are usually the ones where you see him in the highlight. He comes out with either a left or a right uppercut, just to tell you just how emphatic a knockout blow that was. Perkins out, Irvin Johnson in.
One of the big factors in this game, in fact, helping to determine who controls the tempo is the rebounding, and the Sonics have a 20-8 advantage. There's a missed opportunity off the hand of Morris, and Kemp puts it home.
The way Shawn Kemp is, good things are going to happen for you if you just stay in the game. He chases that one, saying, oh, now when I really need it, that won't go in. But today is my day.
And Antoine Carr committed his third foul. Kemp has it tapped in by Johnson. Everything coming up roses for the Sonics.
If I was Johnson, I'd put my hands up. The ball was tapped in by Ostertag, but he'll get the two.
Malone. Johnson the rebound. Sonics trying to bust the game wide open in the final seconds of the half. Johnson, offensive foul. Ran over Ostertag.
That's what happens when you get happy. Right? You're too happy. Your imagination gets away from you, and you think that you can soar where only eagles go, and that means you got to go over 7-2 Ostertag. Johnson doesn't get it done. Nate McMillan in, and Hersey Hawkins down for defensive energy in the last 34-9 of the second quarter.
Stockton with a miss, and
fortunately, that ball went over the top, or Shawn Kemp would have gotten called for a bump underneath against Karl Malone.
Kemp had a push, but as you said, fortunate for the Sonics that the ball went out of bounds over the top of the backboard.
Hawkins back in. Now they're thinking offense. They've got about 4-second differential between game and clock. Payton trying to hold for what they want to be their final possession of the half.
Stripped away. Morris trying to get it to Stockton, intercepted by Hawkins. 5 left as Shrimp puts up a 3, no good. Kemp with a follow. And that's the half as Ostertag flings it the length of the court. Shawn Kemp with a monster opening half, 19 points. Utah led by 2 midway through the second period, but Seattle closes with a 24-6 run. And we'll be back with a Prudential halftime report right after these messages.
It's the only one out there. And here it comes. Introducing the only compact pickup to offer a third door. Okay, folks, show's over. Chevy S-Series, like a rock. Hey, you're a guy, and guys want to stay cool. How do you do it? With new Speed Stick Gel, proven to keep you drier than any other gel. It's the best gel protection. New Speed Stick Gel, just for the guys.
Send your package in 2 days with FedEx, and people are impressed. Cost, about $12.
Send your package in 2 days with UPS, and people are impressed. Cost, about $6.
Send your package in 2 to 3 days with Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service, and people are impressed. Cost exactly $3.
So, 12, 6, 3, what's your priority? Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Mom, we don't do fried.
KFC realizes fried chicken isn't on everybody's menu every day. That's why our new tender roast comes in pieces, just like our original recipe. So bring home both and make everybody happy.
Thanks, Dad.
No matter what day it is.
Yeah.
It's all good on the hard, will remain in calm. My game is tight and the bomb like Shawn. Simply on the mission when transition is the game. Steady on the game, it's the man who make it rain. Came on the scene, green at 19. Critics intervened, but I still made the dream. Now the whole world is mine to reinvent, where my skills represent like my name was Shawn Kemp. Yeah, you better understand it. This is my planet.
Nothing compares to Paris in the springtime. And now, tennis's most grueling Grand Slam is upon us. Andre Agassi, Pete Sampras, Monica Seles, Steffi Graf, and more. Join us for the French Open, presented by Perrier. Coverage begins June 1st on NBC.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Live well, make a flag, be your own rock.
Closing the half on a huge run, Seattle is in front of Utah 54-39. Shawn Kemp, 9 of 9 from the floor, 8 rebounds, 19 points. To lead the way, Hersey Hawkins chips in with 11. Bob Costas back in New York with Dr. J and Peter Vesey, and we'll hear from them in a moment. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals today, of course, and Game 1 in the East starts tomorrow. Orlando and Chicago will get things started with a 1-hour pregame at the special time of 2:30 Eastern. We begin here with 2 reports, starting in Chicago with Greg Gumbel, Matt Gukas, and Bill Walton.
All right, Bob, and welcome to Chicago, everyone. The main concern for the Bulls and their fans of late has been the back conditions of their 3 big shooters, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Tony Kukoc. Jordan and Pippen have pronounced themselves fit and ready to go for tomorrow's Game 1. As for Tony Kukoc, he practiced with his teammates for a 3rd straight day, and he will play on Sunday. Remember, he missed the last 3 playoff games against the New York Knicks, and although he's ready to go, he remains cautiously optimistic.
I had a full practice and I felt pretty good, but I'm still on medicine. So once I get off the medicine, I'm going to really see the real situation with the back. But I hope that nothing bad is going to happen again.
Tony Kukoc is a key factor for Chicago in this series. Now, he is the 6th man of the year with solid stats against the league, but did he ever put up impressive numbers against Orlando? 59% from the field and an amazing 63% from downtown. And Chicago will definitely need his talent and firepower in this matchup with the Orlando Magic.
All right, Matt, speaking of impressive numbers, that's what Shaquille O'Neal put up a year ago in the playoffs against the Bulls. 24 points, 13 rebounds a game. How do you stop that, Bill?
Greg, very few players are willing to get in there and take the punishment that Shaquille dishes out regularly. But the Chicago Bulls have built their roster, the United Center, if you will, with 4 guys who they hope have enough size and strength to keep Shaq away from the box. But these guys have got to be defenders, not just foulers. They've got to use their quickness to deny Shaq position. Then, when all else fails for Chicago, look for Dennis Rodman to come in and try to mix it up, because eventually it's a game of skill, and Rodman's got the most skill.
During the regular season, the Bulls won 3 out of 4 against Orlando, but when the ball goes up tomorrow, that won't mean a thing. Let's go back to you, Bob.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. No Marv Albert in that shot. That's because Marv will miss the game in Chicago tomorrow. He's attending his daughter's college graduation. Meanwhile, the Orlando Magic are on their way to Chicago at this hour. They practiced earlier today in Orlando, and Chris Collinsworth was there. Chris.
Bob, Shaquille O'Neal, obviously the dominant center in this series, but one of the advantages that the Chicago Bulls have is that they can run 4 different centers at Shaq, and we all know about the free throw problems that he's been having, but still there's some differing opinions within this organization as to just how big a problem it really is.
Well, I think certainly it's a concern, but there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is, we're not going to go away from our big guy. He's our focal point offensively. We're going to him inside, hoping that he can come out of those with some finishes.
No, it's not a concern at all, because Shaquille seems to rise up in the big games, and unfortunately for him, he's not been making them early on in the playoffs, but as he goes on, I think he'll be making those free throws and hurt the Chicago Bulls if they try to foul him on purpose.
I always take the normal approach. I'm just going to go out and play my game, period. I'm not worried about anything. Ever. Why should you? Life's too short.
Bob, Shaq doesn't seem to be too concerned about it, but he's been to the free throw line more than any other player on either team, shooting just 40% from the free throw line in the playoffs. That's down from 49% in the regular season. And in a tight series like this, you know it has to be a factor. Bob?
All right, Chris, thanks a lot. Penny soft-pedaling it, not a big concern, but in truth, it is. And Shaq appears to be one of these guys that can make them in practice. Wilt always said he could make them in practice, and then the percentage fell in the game.
He was doing that. I was down there yesterday. He was making them time after practice, but it is a huge concern, contrary to what Hardaway and Brian Hill say. You look, in the end of this game, if he's not making his free throws, I'd say adequately. If he's not making at least 50%, that's adequate for him. You watch for the Orlando Magic to go to Hardaway on the post, run the offense off him down the stretch of the game, and send Shaquille to the baseline.
Doctor.
Well, I'd just like to go back to Kukoc for a minute because we started the report talking about him, and his return is very significant for Chicago. Not only does he give him a lift because he was the best sixth man in the league, but he gives Scottie Pippen a lot of personal relief. Kukoc can handle the ball a lot and take some of that responsibility away from Scottie. He runs isolations, so now they got three offensive weapons, Jordan, Pippen, and Kukoc, as well as Ron Harper, who can isolate against the Orlando players who, although collectively they play pretty good defense, individually you can break them down.
So the Bulls and the Magic, game one, looking forward to it tomorrow. When we come back on the halftime show, we'll talk about the first half of the Jazz and Sonics. First, a message from Prudential, and as always, a word from the NBA.
I am a grandfather that takes pleasure in doing anything I can for the kids, and they know it too. I've never been rich and never really wanted to be. I just feel you should live comfortably, but you don't need to be a fool about it. And I try to impart that to my grandchildren. And you've got to have a goal and an aim in life in order to get anywhere.
Stockton bounced into
Karl Malone and John Stockton, they've been able to do it for a decade and do it very effectively.
What a pass by Stockton!
Stockton's main focus is getting the ball to Karl Malone because Karl Malone is going to finish. That's why they call him the mailman, because he delivers.
Use the mailman, what a play!
Every time you turn your head, it's too late. That's how good they are.
John Stockton and Karl Malone, two parts of the Dream Team, this summer on NBC.
Okay, Seattle is up by 15, 54-39 at the half. The most that Shawn Kemp scored against the Jazz in 4 regular season games was 17. He's got 19 on 9 of 9 in the first half here.
Maybe it helps that he's not guarding Karl Malone this time, so he's got more energy on the offensive end. We noticed that Irvin Johnson and Sam Perkins are the ones that are guarding Malone, but the Sonics are putting such offensive pressure on Malone and Stockton by having Payton post up Stockton that is leaving Hersey Hawkins alone outside, and he came through with 11 points, and that's the difference.
You know, both teams substituted liberally in this game. The Jazz played 11 players. They played the guys the minutes, but they really weren't productive. I think Hersey Hawkins was the only productive player off of both benches, and that's what's given Seattle this advantage.
Okay, let's close here with Olympic news from Atlanta. The official opening today of Olympic Stadium, 62 days before the start of the Centennial Games. Prior to today's Atlanta Grand Prix, featuring dozens of U.S. and international track stars, Vice President Al Gore, along with IOC President Juan Antonio Samaranch and Billy Payne, head of the Atlanta Committee for the Olympic Games, participated in the stadium dedication and, as you see, the ribbon-cutting ceremony. Highlighting the competition, a very exciting finish in the men's 100-meter dash. Dennis Mitchell edging out the 8-time Olympic gold medalist Carl Lewis in what was a photo finish. Mitchell's winning time of 9.93 seconds, 1/100th of a second better than Lewis, who at age 35 says he is now in the best shape of his career. Now here is the stretch run in the men's 200 meters. Michael Johnson on the inside in lane number 4, battling it out with 1992 Olympic gold medalist Mike Marsh, who's in lane 6. Johnson, one of the favorites to win double gold in July, holds on to beat Marsh. His winning time of 19.83 seconds is the fastest time this year, and just 11/100ths of a second off the world record set way back in 1979 by Italy's Pietro Manea. And Johnson will have not only the 200 on his mind in Atlanta, but the 400 as well, as he will look to become the first man to win those 2 events in the same Olympics. Now back to basketball. Halftime in Seattle, the Sonics leading the Jazz by 15. We return to Tom Hammond, Steve Jones, and Hannah Storm after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by Prudential. Live well, make a plan, be your own rock.
The trick Houdini was too scared to do. Now one man tries. Lance Burton buried alive in The Hidden Secrets of Magic, NBC tonight. Then, these guys hunt people.
The price is $750,000.
But this time, they've targeted a hero.
Yeah.
And now their prey is stalking them. Jean-Claude Van Damme in the network premiere.
How does it feel to be hunted?
Hard Target, a special Saturday movie tonight on NBC. Parental discretion advised.
You know, we've drafted kids right out of high school. We had this one kid. You would not believe the scouting reports. Raves up and down, can't miss.
Once again, the Indians appear to be the team to beat.
Emotionally, though, he just wasn't prepared.
Jimmy Key is attempting to come back.
Jimmy Key, what's he like, 45? I could hit him.
I mean, it's a different game in here.
Jack, did you watch the game? I mean, didn't it suck? It sucked.
It is with much regret that I announced that I am leaving SportsCenter.
Bottom line, he just came out too soon.
Excuse me, Maestro. We're just letting everyone know that U.S. West Cellular has changed its name to AirTouch Cellular. You'll still get all the same great service with all the same people, just with a new name. Hey, I bet you guys know this one. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes.
AirTouch, the new name for U.S. West Cellular.
The all-new Plymouth Voyager has easy-out roller seats that you can't get on any other minivan. And an exclusive driver-side sliding door. In fact, Voyager not only surpasses every other minivan on the road, but with a 3-liter, 150-horsepower V6 engine, it has 36 times the cargo space of a Porsche 911 for about a third of the price.
Kevin Cork, only on 9 News, Colorado's news leader.
You're watching the NBA on NBC. The 1996 NBA playoffs.
Halftime at the Key Arena, where a second-quarter explosion has carried the Sonics to a 15-point lead over the Jazz at intermission. Let's take a look at our Miller Lite halftime stats. Both teams shooting very well. Seattle 58%. Percy Hawkins was hot in that second quarter, hitting 5 of his 6 shots. And Shawn Kemp for the game is perfect. He has hit 9 of 9. Rebounds a big story here. Seattle with a 24-8 edge, and Kemp with 19 points and 8 boards in the first half. Let's go to Hannah Storm now. She's with Seattle coach George Karl.
And the one statistic, Tom, that we were talking about before the game that you were going to focus on was rebounding. How have you guys managed to be so thoroughly dominant in that area in the first half?
Well, I think the guys did a good job focusing, but our energy was very good. We were bouncing around, and then, we got lucky sometimes. The ball bounced our way, but if we keep that up, I think we have a good chance of winning the game.
How do you keep them out on the perimeter like you've been doing?
Well, we know that keeping them in front of them, keeping Stockton and Hornacek and all, they're cutting and they're splitting and they're slipping. They're a great passing team, a great execution team, and we did a great job in the first half, but it's not over.
All right, have a good second half, Coach. Thanks for joining us. Tom?
All right, Hannah, it was a good first half for Karl and the Sonics, and the intangibles here, controlling tempo and holding the Utah bench in check. Seattle did a good job of those two factors.
No, they did, and it seemed like Seattle exploded on them. At about the 4-minute mark, it was a tight game, about a 6-point lead, and suddenly they blew away from them. Now it's up to Jerry Sloan's team to get the tempo and get control of the game, make it a game this afternoon.
It was a 25-6 run to close the first half for the Seattle Sonics, who take a 15-point lead into the third quarter. We'll be back to Seattle for that in just a moment.
The new Ford Taurus has people talking. Car and Driver noted it's wider, longer, and taller than before. Edward Armand says,
I'm amazed at its size. It's actually bigger than it looks.
Automobile Magazine calls it maybe the best family car ever made. And Maria Stylo adds,
I love it. I've never gotten so many compliments.
the new Ford Taurus. Now with $600 cash back, Taurus starts at just $17,945 or get 2.9% APR financing. Hurry, offer ends soon.
I see skies are blue, clouds are
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
blessed day, the dark sacred night. and I say to myself,
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
wonderful world.
Angel-headed hipsters burning for the ancient heavenly connection.
I hear babies cry.
I have a dream.
Watch them cry.
My 4 little children.
They'll learn much more.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
What a wonderful world.
If I could
Favored by some to win the 100-meter gold in '92, she finished out of the medals only 0.04 of a second from the gold. Now, Atlanta-born Gwen Torrence looks to leave her mark as the world's fastest woman in the 100 and 200 meters. Her hometown dreams take her to the Olympics on NBC.
Seattle enjoying its biggest lead as we start the third quarter. Shawn Kemp, a near flawless first half. Karl Malone with 12 points to lead Utah, but Kemp 19 points and 9 for 9 from the floor, approaching the best shooting game in NBA playoff history. Scott Wedman of the Celtics against Los Angeles in '85 hit 11 for 11. And Larry McNeil of Kansas City against Chicago in '75 was 12 for 12. Kemp started 9 for 9 from the field last Sunday against the Rockets in the fourth game clincher. Ended up with 35 points.
And that is the best game that Shawn Kemp has played when the gun is up in his career, and he's trying to come back and equal that. Right out of the box, they get a goal 10 against Felton Spencer and the Utah Jazz.
Credit the basket to Gary Payton, his 9th point. Quick shot by Morris, got free from 17. Tapped once by Malone. Spencer's follow. Rejected by Kemp, but Hornacek claims it for Utah. Jeff's pull-up is no good, and Shrimp goes way up for the rebound and then is fouled as he's knocked to the court. I thought this was a goaltend for a moment.
It looked like a goaltend. If we had goaltends at the other end, I know Felton Spencer said, I haven't got to shoot all day. You know, you're going to take my one shot away. So he's had a tough time. Right now, Stockton and the Jazz have to find a way to assert themselves. When this guy starts making shots like that, Irvin Johnson from deep out on the floor, then you know you're in for a long afternoon. Now, the funny thing about the Utah Jazz is that in their series, they've had bad games. They had 2 games in Portland where they did not play well. Everyone questioned whether they could go on. They had a very bad game in San Antonio. Questioned whether they could win again. And Jerry Sloan tries to maintain the same demeanor, which is pushing, and they want to get to the championship round.
Malone scores. It's a 29-8 Seattle run. And Hawkins couldn't get the roll on the reverse, and then Spencer threw it right to Kemp.
And the Sonics have been right in the passing lanes. They've read the outlets perfectly and been able to make the most of them. Shrimp.
Detlef hits a 3, and the onslaught continues.
Now it's a 20-point lead, plenty of time to play in the ball game. Crowd, of course, believes that their team can run away and hide, but the Sonics are a team that will let you back in the game, but you've got to have the patience to do it one bucket at a time.
Irvin Johnson committing his 3rd foul.
If you try to get it all back against the Sonics, as we look at Irvin Johnson, who's very puzzled, you end up seeing the lead go from 20 to 30, and then everyone in the arena is having a good time at your expense. Felton Spencer inside.
And there Irvin Johnson coming over to help out. Sends that one into the cheap seats, or expensive seats in that case, I guess.
Irvin Johnson's a shot blocker and a very good shot blocker off the ball. That time he came off the ball to knife down Felton Spencer's shot. Hornacek, who made all those shots in the first half, has missed his first 2.
Johnson made him change it. Here's Shrimp for 3. It's a sonic boom in Seattle. the NBA on NBC.
If you let me play.
You let me play sports.
I will like myself more. I'll have more self-confidence. If you let me play sports.
If you let me play.
If you let me play. I'll be 60% less likely to get breast cancer. I will suffer less depression.
If you let me play sports.
I will be more likely to leave a man who beats
If you
me.
let me play. I'll be less likely to get pregnant before I want to.
I will learn.
I will learn what it means to be strong.
To be strong.
If you let me play. Play sports.
If you let me play sports.
The job needs 4 guys now, and the guys need all their equipment. You're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does too. Meet the all-new 1997 Ford F-150, the only full-size pickup with a standard Super Cab third door, 60/40 split rear bench, and standard dual airbags, plus a taller cab for more hat and boot room than ever. After all, the guys aren't getting any smaller. The new Ford F-150. Strength after strength after strength.
What are the steps to winning in the NBA Finals? Step 1, play hard. 2, drink Gatorade. 3, match the inside of your cap with the winning team and the number of games it takes them to win the finals. And win a bag full of cool stuff. There will be over 1 million winning caps.
Sweat it out. Don't just watch the finals, play them.
Suggestion, don't wear all the cool stuff at the same time.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by New Miller Beer, the brand new beer from Miller with big flavor that goes down easy. By the all-new Ford F-150, strength after strength after strength. And by Microsoft. Where do you want to go today?
Over the last 9.5 minutes, Seattle has outscored Utah 35-8. And Hannah, I guess Jerry Sloan's trying to regroup over there.
He certainly is, Tom. In fact, he told his team at halftime that you have simply been out-hustled by the Seattle Supersonics. He wants to see him hustling, going for those loose balls, and he really wants to see him take the ball to the basket. He says they are not being aggressive enough. He pointed out that in the second quarter alone, they only got inside 6 times, took 11 shots from the perimeter. He said, just as Snapper did a few minutes ago, that the Sonics are the kind of team that will let you back in the ball game if you play hard. But meanwhile, George Carr telling his team on the other end, don't cut him any slack, guys. Keep your focus. Tom?
All right, Hannah, as you see, the Jazz can't buy a hoop. Hornacek misses again, chased it down.
Interesting thing about this ball game, when you look at free throws, and that tells you whether a team is going to the basket, they had 4 free throws in the first half of play. The Utah Jazz, Karl Malone did not shoot 1, and he's always been amongst the league leaders. Foul, Jerry Payton.
He thought he got all ball. Number 2 on Gary.
Talk about players that play with an edge and an attitude. Payton always seems to have one. His face is always contorted in some way. You never see this guy happy, but that's what makes him the player and the competitor he is, inside to Malone.
And Johnson swipes it away, but commits the foul. Irvin Johnson, number 4. Well, there's a case of the superstar getting the benefit of the doubt. I thought he had all ball.
There have been some calls that they haven't gotten earlier where they probably could have gone their way, but I think they made a more aggressive effort in doing so. The real key in getting calls is being aggressive, asserting yourself, and going in the direction of the basket. If the officials see you bailing out, throwing up something cheap, they're not going to give you the call.
And the poor free throw shooting by Karl Malone continues. Just 58.5% in the playoffs. And he missed 2. You heard the crowd perhaps distracting him as they counted down his allotted time to shoot. Steal by Stockton.
And the Jazz don't look to run on the road that much, but here's a chance for Felton Spencer to get in the game. Takes it down with 2 hands over the top. When you look at the scoreboard and you're the Jazz, you see 8-28 and you're down by 21. What you want to do is look and realistically say, where can we be at the start of the fourth quarter? Can we be at 10 or 12, give ourselves a chance to regain control of the rhythm of the game?
You're going to have to guard somebody first, though. That was a wide open look for Gary Payton, and he made it. And here's an illegal defense call on Seattle.
You know, Payton and Kemp, who are the primary offensive threats here in the third quarter, were 5 of 15 between them. They were the guys that were holding the starters down in that first half. Take a look at the illegal defense, and it's always easy to call Shawn Kemp just wandering around in the lane. Chris Morris inside. Got bumped off the ball. He had the lane.
Then tried to dribble it through a couple of Sonics. Luckily for him, it was kicked by a Seattle player.
Remember the start of the game. The Utah Jazz were very efficient and things were very easy for them. Now they're very difficult. They're going a lot more one-on-one, and that's not the nature of this team. This team likes to set up. They like to pick and roll. They like to execute in a half-court set. Nice pass.
Great pass. No look. Touch pass by Karl Malone after Stockton had dribbled his way out of a Seattle trap. That was what Jerry Sloan was talking about, getting a wide-open shot off the Seattle trap.
When it's easy for the defense is when you quick shoot the ball, when you're careless, and that's when defense becomes really the dominant thing.
Irvin Johnson can't get the roll. Malone hauls it down for Utah.
Got a mismatch with Felton Spencer against Payton, but he's not going to be able to get the ball where he wants it. There, he's got it now.
Stockton gave it to him, and Payton with a foul as Spencer took it to the hoop. Gary Payton committing his third.
This is a guy that George Karl can't afford to see in foul trouble, but on the switch, they finally get Felton Spencer the ball, and like most small guys, they try to make a play on the ball. That time, the call goes in favor of Felton Spencer.
Spencer's 5 points are 2 above his playoff average. Good average about 5 during the regular season.
Well, put an asterisk by Felton Spencer. He's recovering from Achilles surgery, and usually the year after the player isn't nearly as effective. But when they got Felton Spencer, he was a center that was missing. He gave him a lot of pop on the offensive glass, so he's still trying to work his way back to good health. 6 points in the quarter for Felton Spencer.
Irvin Johnson. And a loose ball foul. Shawn Kemp. Or is it Irvin Johnson? Let's see. Don't forget NBC Sunday night. Sunday must-see TV. NBC's special 1-hour season finale of Mad About You. That's the one everyone's talking about. The 1-hour season finale of Mad About You after Dateline Sunday here on NBC. Do they call a foul on Kemp or Johnson?
Second personal foul against Shawn Kemp. It is a penalty situation, so Karl Malone and the Utah Jazz walk to the other end of the floor. But if you have Irvin Johnson now becoming an offensive threat, you have the Sonics under control. They're going away from what they were doing well. Listen to the crowd.
Well, Malone missed 2 there a minute ago. And he misses again with the crowd counting him down.
Now, I'll tell you why Karl Malone is missing his free throws. If you take a look at his upper body, when he comes up into a shooting position, he starts moving backward away from the line.
He's 0 for 4.
But free throws will be critical for the Jazz in getting back in the game. Shawn Kemp.
Kemp. Irvin Johnson with the offensive rebound after Kemp's miss, his first miss of the game. He's 9 for 10 now.
Now we're looking at guys that are very sticky and sweaty. That's hard work. And a guy that's working pretty hard for Seattle, doesn't get much credit. Irvin Johnson kept that one alive.
6.5 to play, third quarter. Kemp's pass deflected. He dives and saves right into the hand of Stockton, and his teammate Chris Morris then banged it out of bounds.
When you win a game in the NBA, you also have that thing called luck.
Yeah.
There was an example of luck. They make the Sonics make a tough play. They get the ball. It's a pop-up, but they can't control it. Now they get the ball back. No control yet, so it's 9 on the shot clock.
Seems like every break has gone Seattle's way today. Is fatigue a factor here for Utah?
I really don't think so. I think that Utah's in a pretty good game rhythm, but they've lost control of the game to the Sonics, who regained their game rhythm that they had against the Rockets. I mean, Payton's now making threes, Kemp is making threes, and this is part of the success they had in putting away the defending champ.
Payton holding that pose as he went back up court, kind of like the Heisman pose, saying, yep, that was me. Spencer turns on Kemp. Tapped once, no good. On the floor and out of bounds. Last touch by Gary Payton.
Gary Payton wide open, but he was shooting this like he was in the three-point shootout contest in the All-Star game. As you see, yeah, he's a little frisky this afternoon now after he's made a couple.
Hornacek can't hit it. Spencer chases it down for Utah.
Utah's starting to get more second opportunities, but they're not cashing in, and they're down 22. They need the next 5 minutes of this third quarter to be a real good, efficient quarter. Foul, Felton Spencer.
Illegal screen on Gary Payton. Felton Spencer's second.
Stockton out, Howard Isley in. Howard Isley had a tough time with Payton his first time around, and Payton's now got a glow about him that says that he might be looking to take advantage of Howard Isley.
Seattle's three-point attack has come alive after they missed their first 6. They've hit 5 of their next 6. Payton with a great pass and a throwdown by Kemp. Malone.
Usually when they get in trouble, they go to their steadying force, Karl Malone. He's only had a couple of shot attempts as everybody else has been trying to do it to see if they ride Malone the remainder of the quarter.
Irvin Johnson and one.
Remember when I talked about the glow that Payton has? He's in full command right now, and that means he's setting up everybody. And over the top, Irvin Johnson with 2 hands and 1. Felton Spencer out of the ball game, 3rd personal. Greg Ostertag, who has shot blocking ability in.
Johnson can't complete the three-point play. He has 8 points against a playoff average of 3 a game. Malone backing his way in. Draws a foul from Irvin Johnson. That's his 5th foul. So Irvin Johnson, who didn't play high school basketball, working in a supermarket before he went to college at New Orleans, commits his 5th foul.
But this player is growing in confidence with every game that he gets to play for George Karl. The crowd again trying to distract Malone.
Finally makes one. He's 1 of 5 at the free throw line. 17 points for the mailman. Let's listen to him count again. Malone continues to struggle, and naturally, so do the Jazz. Perkins for 3. Ostertag, strong rebound.
Now, the thing about the Jazz is they don't give up. You know, they've been down before, and they found ways to carve into leads, and usually they start riding that guy. And Malone now with 7 in the quarter, and the lead is 21. Where they want to see this lead is hopefully for them, now that they couldn't get it to 12, back around 15-14 as they start the 4th quarter.
3:45 left in the period. Payton is fouled.
What Howard Isley has to do is play with some authority. He right now is playing scared against Gary Payton. He's letting Payton dictate the terms of how that confrontation is going to go.
14.7 assists. He also has 4 rebounds and 3 steals. Fine all-round game for Gary Payton.
The Defensive Player of the Year has made an offensive impression on opponents during this playoff run, in which the Sonics have finally gotten out of the first round, and they're thinking championship.
Jazz back to Malone. Here's Isley. See if they feed Carl again. Well, they slough off Isley, and he makes them pay with a 3. So Howard Isley, his first bucket of the game, is a trifecta. And then he commits the foul as Payton posts him up. That Utah bench, normally so potent, not getting nearly as much production today.
They haven't been able to find the spark so far. 9 points in 49 minutes. But they're going to be a factor before the series is over. Russell is in the game now, guarding Detlef Schrempf.
Payton for 3. Bodies hitting the floor. Brian Russell went down, and the foul.
They call a double foul. Schrempf and Russell. The Utah Jazz had possession, so they should be getting the ball. Russell trying to stay in front. The mistake that he makes is he allows his arm to get hooked by Schrempf.
Second foul on Schrempf and on Russell. Utah's ball trailing 74-55.
The two guys that got to get going out of the offensive end are Hornacek and Malone. Malone has made some turnovers that have led to fast breaks for the Sonics.
That block partially gives the ball to Utah. Numbers 3-on-1. Isley, Hornacek with a touch to Russell. Couldn't get it down. Tapped by Malone. No good. Isley's able to save it to Hornacek. Utah controls. Missed an opportunity, though. 3-on-1. Knocked out of bounds by McMillan. 2:25 left in the third quarter. Seattle Sonics looking good behind Shawn Kemp.
Somewhere beyond the sea, somewhere waiting for me.
Your turn, man.
When you've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite, life is good.
I think she digs you.
Really?
No. Beyond the sea, somewhere.
The new reloadable smart card. The future is happening now down under and on its way here. From MasterCard, it's smart money.
I'm dead. Dead? I got 47 boxes to ship out by tonight.
Easy. FedEx shipping software. It's just point, click, and ship.
Really?
Bramwell thinks I'm working my tail off. Just point, click, and ship. Take a long lunch. Point, click, and ship. Play a little golf. Point, click, ship.
FedEx shipping software is so easy. Just point, click, and ship from your own computer.
Mr. Bramwell.
I'm dead. You're dead.
I'm dead.
You are really, really dead.
For free shipping software, call FedEx.
There are all kinds of reasons we designed Ford Windstar to be so safe, with over 40 standard safety features, including dual airbags and anti-lock brakes. Reasons it received 5 stars, the highest possible rating in government crash tests, higher than any other minivan. In fact, there are so many reasons we designed Ford Windstar as safe as we did, it's impossible to pick our favorite one. Ford Windstar, now available with $1,000 cash back.
For 13 NBA teams, the future is now. Who will see their dreams come true? The NBA Draft Lottery at halftime of Sunday's Magic Bulls game on NBC.
Although it's sometimes lost in the hoopla surrounding the Bulls and the Magic in the East, the Sonics during the regular season compiled the second best record in the NBA. And after the disappointment in the playoffs the last 2 years, this has been a fun season for George Karl, who credits improved team chemistry.
The chemistry of this basketball team has kind of given me the rejuvenation of that basketball is good again. And I just think coming on off of last year where our bench was dead, our spirit in the locker room was dead, and to a team now that can almost laugh at anything, can almost laugh at any pressure. I remember in Sacramento, the third game, we were laughing most of the time. We were definitely feeling the pressure. But this team has a great sense of humor and it has the ability to focus. And I think that's marvelous. I think the ability when the game's over to be serious about it, but to have a sense of humor about it, but also when we go on the court to focus and know our responsibility.
Well, everybody's laughing now. Payton draws a foul after a steal, and things a little rough over in the Utah huddle, huh, Hannah Storm?
Well, while George Karl may have lightened up on his team a little bit, Jerry Sloan is maintaining total control of his team. What he doesn't want them to do here, Tom, is lose their composure. And an incident just happened a few minutes ago when he pulled Chris Morris from the game. Morris threw his towel in frustration out onto the floor after play had resumed. Sloan was furious. He let him have it, and I can't repeat what Sloan said, but in so many words, it was, if you're going to act like a jerk, you're going to get treated like a jerk. You put your towel behind the bench and maintain your composure. Tom?
All right, well, it's not exactly virgin territory for Chris Morris. Just ask Bill Fitch, Chuck Daly, Butch Beard, and everybody associated with the New Jersey Nets.
Players are emotional, and Chris Morris has always been temperamental, but I think what he is trying to instill is that you can come back from adversity. And if you let your emotions get away from you, you got no shot at coming back from adversity. Hornacek finally rings the bell after a very good start. Perkins.
Sweeping hook over the rookie Ostertag. George Karl talking about the improved team chemistry of the Sonics and giving a large measure of credit for that to the addition of Hersey Hawkins.
Hawkins wants them to remember that. He's a free agent.
Perkins spotted for the three, passed it up, retreats, and Ostertag got a piece.
Now, there are two guys with extremely long arms. You don't realize how long the arms are of Ostertag. They try to tie him up. They got numbers, 4 on 2.
Hornacek thought about the three, passed it up. Now Malone, double team, pitches it back out.
Now, the Jazz are just a little slow in moving the ball, moving people out on the floor. They're going to get an illegal defense. Jerry Sloan saying thank you very much, Mr. Crawford.
Second call against the Sonics will be a technical foul. As John Stockton returns to the fray. Vincent Askew on the floor for Seattle. There's Stockton.
In this round, Hornacek not missing a free throw.
51.5 seconds left in the third of a 77-58 game.
They like to run a play for Malone. They're going to get a foul. Sam Perkins as he tried to push away the screen of Brian Russell.
Number 2 on Sam.
Take a look at the top of the screen, and right there he takes a little chuck in the back. But all of the guards and forwards are expected to set screens for Karl Malone. That's how Malone gets free. His teammates help him. The guys that are being picked don't like it because most of the time they're taking shots in the back.
Brian, don't call me Byron Russell, hits 2 free throws. Brian with 4 points.
They're close to where they need to be to give themselves a chance. They're down 17. If they can control this possession, come back out and score. They got the fourth forward and 12 minutes to look forward to. Payton trying to hold for that key shot.
McMillan. Perkins, the offensive board, misses from underneath, kept it alive, but then Stockton takes it for Utah. Perkins jabs it out of bounds.
Short, that's what Perkins was, and you wonder how can you go from 1 to a half a foot, but Perkins didn't extend that arm, and Stockton and the Jazz holds for the final shot of the third quarter.
At one time, Seattle had a 24-point lead. Stockton nearly traveled, kept his pivot foot intact. Hornacek's in trouble. Now Stockton for three at the buzzer. It won't go. But Utah staving off disaster thanks to John Stockton. His matchup with Gary Payton heavily in favor of the Sonic Payton, who's outscored him 16-4. But Utah staving off disaster with an 11-4 run to close the quarter. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
These days, you're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does too.
Don't move.
Introducing the all-new 1997 Ford F-150. With even more horsepower and torque, and all the legendary strength of an F-Series.
Better get to the Grand Canyon before we do.
The all-new Ford F-150.
You ever notice the face of your kid on the way to McDonald's? His eyes light up. He smiles uncontrollably. And he just gets so happy. Come on, Dad. Some things never change.
Now McDonald's has a new kind of burger, the Arch Deluxe, with the taste, toppings, and big size grown-ups love. The new Arch Deluxe, the burger with the grown-up taste, also available with bacon.
There are tough choices to make every day. Even as a kid, I had to make some hard decisions. I remember this gang was going to start a fight and wanted me to come with them. I was scared to say no.
Where you going, man?
I'm going home. Come with us. Man.
But I was even more afraid of where I'd end up if I went along. Sometimes it's hard to stand alone. I know, because that's what I had to do.
How can you tell when someone's lying? Learn the secrets, Dateline Sunday. Dodge Dakota is #1 in resale versus Ford, Chevy, and GMC. #1 in horsepower, #1 in torque, even #1 in towing. In fact, Dodge Dakota is ranked #1 in more categories versus any compact. So it should come as no surprise that across America, Dodge pickups are #1 in sales growth. Now get up to $3,500 off on Dodge Dakota, including $1,000 cash back.
Coastal's great.
I always come here at night.
I feel very safe coming here. It's very well lit. Lit up like a football field.
It's very convenient. Just a hop, a skip, and a jump.
I'm always forgetting things.
Yes, she is.
It's quick. I can pay at the pump. I just use my credit card and
Zip.
I'm out of here.
I come here for the gasoline. Coastal gasoline, it's very good.
The prices are low. Very low prices.
The people are friendly.
Gee, what more could you want?
Coastal, quality gasolines that cost less.
And they even have clean restrooms.
I love Coastal.
Watch Colorado's news leader, 9 News Weekends.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Not much sleeping in Seattle either with the Sonics back in the conference finals. And after a disastrous second quarter, the Jazz stayed within striking distance in the third and can take heart from the way they played in the fourth quarter. 10 of 11 playoff games, they have outscored their opponents. They need to make up 17 as we start the fourth.
Certainly 17 is doable in a quarter. We saw the Orlando Magic get all 20 of theirs back against the Atlanta Hawks, and the Hawks went on to win the game. This is the guy that's got to light it up for them. They get another illegal D. Again, Sloan with just a little help. Listen, Danny, I know that you got the job, but let me point this out to you one more time.
Shawn Kemp, only 2 points in the third quarter after 19 in the first half. He opened by hitting his first 9 shots. He was 1 of 2 in the third. And despite only 2 points by Shawn, they managed to outscore Utah by 2 points.
They did, and George Karl was happy that they were able to push that lead. He knows that, the game is not safe until you're in the final moments against any of these teams in the NBA, particularly the Jazz, who have a player like Malone. They'll run pick and roll and all kinds of plays from Malone to get him started. They go over the top to Bukowski to foul.
David Benoit, who started 63 games for Utah in the regular season, makes his first appearance in the game here in the fourth quarter.
Benoit is a flyer, a high leaper. He's been playing well since he came off that injury. He jammed the nerve, and his entire leg went numb, but he keeps that little wrap on it just to keep it warm.
Stockton with a screen of Brickowski. Malone turns and fires over it, and he has 21 points. Down to 15.
Now what the Utah Jazz want to do is force the Sonics to become a perimeter team with this group out on the floor. Make every shot a contested one and then rebound the ball. Perkins does a nice job drawing the foul.
Malone hacks him on the arm. First foul on the mailman.
Now this is vintage Karl Malone. Just get enough room to get that jumper off. Dials in, but at the other end, this is a foul with a purpose. Now, Sam Perkins has got long arms, and what Malone likes to do, anybody that's going to put the ball out there, you're going to pay, because he's going to hit your arms, he's going to hit the ball, and eventually you're going to stop putting it out there.
This one looked like the roof was going to cave in for Utah. They've outscored Seattle 13-5 with Perkins towing the line for another shot.
Nicknamed Big Smooth, and he's been smooth and easy so far this afternoon. He's got 2 more from the line.
He was showing off that haircut to you before the game. Karl Malone over Brickowski. Rebounded by Vincent Askew. Pace of the game seems to be swinging back in favor of Utah in recent minutes.
It has slowed down, and it's become more of a grind-out situation. Illegal defense goes the other way. Adam Keefe has a shocked look on his face as he's standing in the paint. Greg Foster will come in the game. Karl Malone will get a rest.
Question for Jerry Sloan and the Jazz, as you see Foster and Malone going to the bench, is it too much to make up?
Well, it's not too much to make up if your opponent is going to start missing some shots. If they keep making, then yeah, it's too much to make up. You've given them the kind of life in the lead where they can win comfortably.
Gary Payton now with 18 points. Mismatch as he's trying to guard Foster. Brickowski comes to help. McMillan stole for a moment. Now Keefe saves to Stockton, who launches a 3, no good.
The Sonics have just been better in recognizing where the ball is coming from and making the passes. They've been disruptive.
Payton with that pose again, and he'll hold it all the way down court after recording a 3 and his 21st point of the game.
George Karl ran out on the floor and was standing. The officials didn't see him. They were trying to get a double team against John Stockton. Adam Keefe took a shot right in the cheekbone.
Well, after a brief Utah run, the Sonics have regrouped. Payton with a 3. It's 84-62.
Michael and the Bulls, Shaq and the Magic. The showdown begins Sunday on NBC.
Come on, move the car. Hey, move the car. Hey, what is wrong with you? Move the...
Black & Decker has just made jobs around the house a lot easier to do with the VersaPack interchangeable battery system. With VersaPack, you get more for your money because one set of rechargeable batteries powers over 20 different Black & Decker cordless tools. VersaPack from Black & Decker. It's how things get done.
Hollywood Pictures presents Leslie Nielsen as a secret agent with a license to spill. He's going into the line of fire in the year's biggest cliffhanger. When the mission's this impossible, only one man's up to speed.
Next stop, Melrose, I think.
Spy Hard.
Houston, we have a problem.
Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, May 24th.
This is it, where brand new Miller beer begins. Where the hops grow that give new Miller beer its flavor. Because new Miller beer is brewed a totally new way. Straight from the heart of the hops, for flavor unlike any other beer. Big flavor that goes down easy. We think so much of this new beer, we're just calling it who we are. Miller. Brand new Miller beer. Reach for what's out there.
Miller, where great taste runs in the family, brings you Miller Moments.
Today's Miller Moment features a playoff pass between these two teams, the 92 Western Conference semifinals. Karl Malone led the way for the Jazz in Game 5 with 37 points and 13 rebounds as Utah won the game and took the series 4 games to 1. In recognition of that moment, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Teams then met again the next year in '93 in the first round when the Sonics won the series 3 games to 2. And always a physical affair when these two get together.
It always is, and when Frank Bukowski's involved in the play, you can always expect it. You're going to have to give as well as take, and Adam Keith took one right around the cheekbone.
So you say his reputation as the hatchet man is justified. That proves it, huh?
Oh, he's earned.
Tom Hammond, Steve Snapper Jones had a storm. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. Utah had a lead in the second quarter, but it's been all Seattle since then. Here's a foul on Seattle. And George Karl chased back to the bench by Dick Bavetta.
Utah Jazz really struggling at the offensive end because of a very aggressive defense. Nate McMillan pushes that one away, but he steps out of bounds before he can make the save. George Karl said, oh, but he saved the ball. He's dancing. McMillan can't believe it.
Bavetta pointing to the sideline. No foul, just McMillan out of bounds trying to save it.
No Payton out on the floor. You've got McMillan to run the show. They get a foul against him. Hersey Hawkins in with Askew, Perkins, and Bukowski. This is a team that the Jazz can make a run at.
Let's go to Hannah Storm.
Well, Jerry Sloan telling his team in that last timeout, okay, I don't see anyone on this bench that's close to fouling out, so I don't want to see any more uncontested shots. You guys just keep executing. He said, as far as I know, no 7-game series has been decided in 1 game. Tom?
Foster over the back of Perkins, commits the foul.
That is the attitude of a true blue-collar worker. What? 2 fouls, 1 foul? I need to see some guys that are trying to undress the opponent. I haven't seen it here in this ball game.
Which is the way Jerry played, right?
That's right. So let's see if they start getting up and trying to be aggressive and changing the attitude. Big smooth.
Bukowski with a beautiful screen, leaving Perkins open for the tray. Seattle missed its first 6 shots from 3-point range, and they've hit 7 of 10 since then.
In making any comeback, you got to have defense, but you got to have some offense as well. And what's been missing is Adam Keith goes in and ties up Bukowski. And Keith is hot because Bukowski's been throwing him around like a lightweight. Dick Bavetta's trying to calm him down and tell him, well, I saw what happened. You'll see underneath the basket. In this exchange, they're locked up, but who gets the worst of it? Keith's head bounced off the floor.
Keith at 241 pounds thrown to the court by Bukowski, who weighs in at 248 in the tail of the tape. Keith, you'll remember or may not remember, in '92 was the 10th player taken in the draft. First-round pick of the Atlanta Hawks from Stanford. Bukowski controls the tap. Here's the entry pass to Perkins against Foster. Fall away. And Russell all alone for the rebound.
The group for the Jazz that's got to make something happen. It has to start with John Stockton. He gets a foul call against Nate McMillan. But Stockton has not been able to score the ball this afternoon. His assist numbers are down.
The long-awaited Orlando-Chicago series begins tomorrow. You want to be tuned here to NBC, starting at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Magic and the Bulls.
You know what's been forgotten about that matchup is that the defending Eastern Conference champions are the Orlando Magic. And because of the great season that the Bulls have had, you're acting like not only they the defending champions, but they have won the title. Russell score.
Orlando eliminating Chicago last year. Here's a 2-on-2. Russell feeds it to the trailer. Keith, who lost it.
He had a case of Bukowski-itis. He saw Big Frank.
Heard the footsteps.
Defensively, the Jazz trying to get more active, but to no avail. They're leaving their three-point shooters with too much room.
Got to find the shooters. Nate McMillan, the latest to cash in from three-point range. And Utah takes the timeout. It may be too late. 7:25 left in the game. Sonics up big.
Turns out we're part of the biggest event during the summer games, the beer run. The Bud World Party continues, round the clock, around the world.
Mom, we don't do fried.
KFC realizes fried chicken isn't on everybody's menu every day. That's why our new tender roast comes in pieces, just like our original recipe. So bring home both and make everybody happy.
Thanks, Dad.
No matter what day it is.
Hey, you're a guy, and guys want to stay cool. How do you do it? With new Speed Stick Gel, proven to keep you drier than any other gel. It's the best gel protection. New Speed Stick Gel, just for the guys.
Introducing the Acura RL. The new flagship from Acura. It's built on the idea that luxury doesn't have to be boring. An idea that we thought might appeal to some of you.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Budweiser, official sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Summer Games. This Bud's for you. By Acura, who invites you to test drive the new flagship of Acura, the RL. And by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth.
Well, the Sonics have applied the needle to the Jazz today. No sweet music for Utah. Game one of these Western Conference Finals. That's kind of the way it's gone for Seattle today. Everything they've done, it seems, has been right. The marquee matchups. Shawn, Kemp, and Karl Malone dead even at 21 points. Kemp has 3 more rebounds, hitting a higher percentage. And at the point guard, big disparity here with Payton outscoring Stockton 21-4 and has 1 more assist than the NBA leader.
Shawn Kemp and teammates laughing. Kemp was very efficient in a short period of time. Looks like he'll get the rest of this afternoon off. But what Sloan is trying to do in this 7:22 is just instill an attitude of being aggressive, particularly out on the road. Turnover, that's not going to help.
Benoit traveling. Monday night, these two teams will tip it off again in Game 2 here at the Key Arena, a game to be seen on TNT. 7 minutes left in this one, 9 o'clock Eastern game time for Game 2. And Perkins hits a 3. You know, I think that George Karl was worried about him being a little rusty after the long layoff, but after starting slowly, they really, about mid-second quarter, hit their stride, and they got it going now, especially from three-point range. Actually, every facet of the game, controlling the boards.
They exploded on the Jazz at about the 4-minute mark of that second quarter, and the Jazz have been on their heels since then, and they really have been tentative at the offensive end, working against the shot clock. Ostertag. They've gotten just 6 points so far here in the quarter, and you're not going to beat a quality team that way. Burkowski.
Did you see the glare he gave? He got a little taste of his own medicine and didn't like it much. Now he can have a little wry smile as he tries to stare down the rookie Ostertag.
Well, Al Rabowski had a certain demeanor about him in baseball, and it was all about intimidation. That's what Burkowski is. He's actually a fun-loving guy, always pulling pranks.
And he has the last laugh with a three-point shot. His first bucket of the game.
He is the head prankster for the Sonics in the locker room. Although noise is about Steve Scheffler trying to get into the ball game. Benoit for three. And when Scheffler gets in the game, to everybody here in Seattle, that means victory.
That's akin to a Red Auerbach's victory cigar. Huh?
That's right.
Askew. Percy Hawkins just now coming back down court as Perkins rejects Ostertag, and there is Hawkins waiting for the easy one. The bunny for Hawkins, who spent most of the time on the other end of the court.
Ostertag made that mistake again of showing the ball a little bit too early. His long arms weren't longer than Perkins, and that's what got Hawkins easy too. Pressure by the Sonics has been relentless here for three quarters.
Carr is able to save it. Well, if the Jazz have proven anything in the playoffs this year, it is that they are resilient, as you mentioned earlier. Blown out a couple of times and come right back to fashion blowouts of their own.
They know that they can withstand a loss, and it's really a question of attitude. Ostertag, the loose ball foul.
And there is Steve Scheffler. Played only 5 minutes in the playoffs so far. Eric Snow and David Wingate also in for the Sonics. Scheffler in his 6th season from Purdue. Talk about working hard before the game. He puts in a full game knowing he's not going to get much playing time, I guess. As the Sonics close in on 198 points now, it'll be only the second time in the playoffs that Utah has given up the century mark. In fact, last 7 games prior to today, Utah opponents averaging only 81 points a game.
You know what the San Antonio Spurs are saying? Why couldn't you have a bad game like that against us? I mean, they played extremely well against the Spurs, started that way against the Sonics, and the Sonics became the aggressors, changed the complexion of the game, and game 1 is going to go against Gary Sloan. Success is dealing with failure, and that will tell the story of this 7-game series. Who can handle the loss better and come back and play their game. 5 on the shot clock.
Carr misses everything, and as they scramble for it, it's a shot clock violation. What about game 2? Any adjustments, any changes that Malone and the Jazz can make to swing things in their favor?
I think it's more of an attitude adjustment. They have to become more aggressive. They have to do the intangibles. They've got to get that rebound, dive on the floor, take care of the basketball, which they didn't do once they started their avalanche. They just continue to make the same kind of repetitive mistakes.
Scheffler over Ostertag, couldn't get the bounce. Well, Utah in the regular season was just 1 over 500 on the road and lost 3 of 4 to the Sonics.
Nice block by Nate McMillan, but he steps out of bounds again. But they've only won 1 game on the road in this playoff run. And that ball game happened to be against San Antonio. They do not have the home court advantage. If they're to get to the championship round as Perkins goes out, they know they have to fashion a win here at the Key Arena.
Big game for Sam Perkins off the Seattle bench with 13 points and 4 rebounds. Big dog with a sweeping hook down into the arms of Irvin Johnson, who has returned. Jump ball, Eric Snow and Antoine Carr. Been a lot of heroes for Seattle today. It's been a good all-round effort. It was Kemp early, hitting his first 9 shots. Payton consistent throughout the game, the 2 marquee players, but a lot of support from others.
When Kemp and Hersey Hawkins went on that explosive 20-point tear between them in the second quarter, that seemed to spell the demise of the Jazz, and they never recovered. Normally, the Jazz do a better job of rebounding the basketball. They got beat solidly in that first half off the glass.
Kemp and Payton with 21 points each, as Benoit misses a 3. Getla Shrimp pitched in 14, 13 for Hawkins, and Irvin Johnson with 8 among the Seattle starters. Johnson, that'll put him in double figures. So all 5 Seattle starters score in double figures. They also get 13 off the bench with Sam Perkins. It was indeed an all-round team effort.
This kind of smells like the first game between Houston and Seattle, in which it was a pretty tight contest until the break, and then they ran away and hit in the second half of the ball game. It started for the Sonics late in the second quarter and has just been a runaway train since then, trying to get Scheffler a score.
And he'll have a chance at the free throw line as Ostertag fouls him. We'll take a timeout here with 2:24 left and what will be a Game 1 win for Irvin Johnson and the Sonics.
FedEx has over 35,000 trucks to handle your 2-day package. Cost about $12.
UPS has over 130,000 trucks for your 2-day package. Cost about $6.
The U.S. Postal Service has over 200,000 trucks for your Priority Mail 2- to 3-day package. Cost exactly $3.
So, 12, 6, 3, what's your priority? Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
We'd like to take a few seconds to show you something you don't see very often. Mechanics working on a Honda.
On root beer, the foam goes straight to your brain. Tonight, these guys hunt people.
The price is $750,000.
But this time, they've targeted a hero.
Yeah.
And now their prey is stalking them. Jean-Claude Van Damme in the network premiere.
How does it feel to be hunted?
Hard Target, a special Saturday movie tonight on NBC. Parental discretion advised.
Sam Perkins out of North Carolina. His nickname is Big Smooth, and he fancies himself as a trendsetter and somewhat of a stylist. We asked him the trend he was trying to set with his hair.
I was going Afrocentric, and, you know, it was more or less twisted. And you saw some of the guys with JR and Purvis Ellison with locks or whatever, dreads. And I was getting mine twisted because it rains up here 99% of the time, so I was tired of getting it cut. So the young lady that did my hair, she was doing it all of a sudden she fell in love, and I couldn't find her no more. So I had this big afro, and I had to get it cut. And I was walking around looking like, you know, somebody back in the ABA, Larry Keenan or Julius Erving at the time. So it was crazy.
or Snapper Jones at the time in the ABA days. I've seen pictures of you, too.
It wasn't called Afro-eccentric.
Just eccentric, I think. And before the game in the warm-ups, I know he was giving you that, look at my hair. You know, he's giving you the eye. And
he cleaned it up, and so he's nice and smooth today, but Sam Perkins will not be one of those guys that you see glistening with a bald head.
Yeah, the Jazz on pace for their worst playoff loss. It's 31-point margin at the moment.
Well, unless they get an offensive hero here in the final 2 minutes. I mean, they started with at least a shot. And they've only scored 9 points in 10 minutes of play. This has been a difficult offensive quarter for Jerry Sloan to endure.
And while it could be the Jazz worst playoff loss. It could be the biggest blowout in Seattle history if the pace continues. 33 is that number.
The late Babe McCarthy, one of my coaches, said to me, you know, a loss is a loss, whether you lose by 1 or you lose by 50. And the truth of the matter is, a close game hurts you more and stays with you longer than a blowout. You can expect the Utah Jazz to come back and play with some resolve and purpose on Monday.
The late, great Babe McCarthy, who was known for his psychological moves as well as his expert coaching. Once when he was at Mississippi State, as Wingate misses, he had a student place a dead skunk under Adolph Rupp's bench as the Wildcats came into play. Bulldogs won the game. Richard Williams, the current Mississippi State coach, learned his trade by sneaking in to watch Babe McCarthy at the Mississippi State practices while a student there. Ostertag with the offensive board and has it rejected for his efforts by Irvin Johnson. Oh, great interception made by Brian Russell, and Isley takes it the other way and left it for nobody. Jerry Sloan.
Yeah, that's the kind of afternoon that Isley's had. They make a big save, but then in trying to make something happen for them, he has turned the ball over. Wingate trying to get a score himself. I mean, they're working for Scheffler.
Here's Snow. Who would have thought you'd see snow in May? Eric Snow, the rookie from Michigan State.
That's Ostertag's move, and he finally got a chance to get himself set up. He's got 4 points, so he's a leading scorer in the quarter for the Utah Jazz with 4 in the period.
Superb shooting or poor defense, have it either way you want, but for the game, the Sonics are hitting 57% from the floor.
And the Utah Jazz haven't allowed an opponent to shoot better than 41%, and suddenly the Sonics bust out big time.
Final seconds of game 1. Scheffler at the horn. Couldn't get it down. That would have been too much. So a resounding victory in game 1 for Shawn Kemp and the Seattle Sonics. They blow out the Utah Jazz 102-72. Shawn Kemp hit 10 of his 11 shots in the game. Finished with 21 points and 11 rebounds to key an all-round team effort for the winning Seattle Sonics. They shook off the rust of the layoff. They saw themselves trailing in the second quarter to Utah and then exploded. Took command by halftime, outscored Utah by only 2 in the third quarter, and then put it away in the fourth. And right now, Shawn Kemp is standing by with Hannah Storm. Hannah?
This is getting to be a habit. Hanging out with Shawn Kemp every weekend on Sunday after blowouts. Shawn, you were so dominant against them in the first game. What was the key?
I think just coming out with a lot of intensity, trying to pick off where we left off in the Houston series, and just playing confident.
How tough was that for you to pick up? Because early on it was a close game. You guys didn't seem to really play your game until midway through the second quarter.
Yeah, it was. We didn't get out and run as much as we wanted to early in the first quarter, but at the start of the second quarter, we felt much looser, got a lot of easy points, rebounded the ball very well, and got it started.
A big key seemed to be your individual matchup with Karl Malone. You had not had a lot of success against him. Normally, he's one of your toughest opponents. Why today was the story different?
I think just being patient, letting the game come to myself, not being too aggressive on Karl, not letting him rip the ball down low too much, and just taking the ball up strong.
There's going to be some speculation that fatigue was a factor because as the Houston Rockets in the first game here, you got a team that was coming in that had to play a series when you had wrapped yours up early.
Yeah, it is, but this is going to be a slow series. I don't think we can get too anxious, not too aggressive early. We want to take our time, let the game come to us, and our defense is what's been winning with us, and we're going to stick with it.
All right, Shawn, good luck in game 2. All right, nice win. Tom?
All right, Hannah, blowout victory for Seattle in game 1. They win it by 30, 102-72. We'll be back in a moment.
This is a 9 News special report.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Paul Johnsich with some breaking news this afternoon. A large forest fire is burning out of control. It's near the town of Buffalo Creek in the Pike National Forest. We want to show you what it looks like from one of our cameras from Denver. Lots of smoke over the hills there. So far, more than 700 acres have burned. The community of Buffalo Creek has been evacuated, as have all the camping spots in that area. It's near the Meadows campground, I understand. Now, this is a video from the fire earlier today. Home video. A camper shot this earlier today when the fire first started coming over the hill toward their campground. A scary situation for those folks. Kathy Sabin is in the Weather Center now. Now, Kathy, they've been fighting 30 to 40 mile-an-hour winds there. What's it going to be like the rest of the afternoon?
Right now, we've been getting reports of wind gusts as high as 15 and 20 miles per hour, with some of the canyon gusts up to 35 miles per hour. The winds right now are blowing out of the west-southwest, and the good news is we're not expecting any erratic shifts in the wind. They should continue to blow out of the west-southwest, and they're expected to die down after about 7:30 tonight. It's possible in some of the canyon areas in the foothills we may see gusts as high as 40 and 50 miles per hour before this is all said and done. But right now there is not a high wind watch out, and right now they're gusting between 15 and 30 miles per hour. But some good news later on. They're expected to die down.
Okay, Kathy, thanks very much. Needless to say, avoid the area if you can. Of course, we have crews on the scene, several crews on the scene. We'll be bringing you live reports on 9 News at 5. We'll see you then.
This has been a special report from 9 News.
Now the rematch for the Eastern Conference crown. Plus at halftime, the NBA Draft Lottery. Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on NBC.
Seattle takes a 1-0 lead in the series, 102-72. Actually, 3 players in the game had 21 points. Karl Malone for Utah, Shawn Kemp for the Sonics, and also with 21 for the Sonics, Gary Payton, who's standing by with Hannah Storm.
Well, Gary, we can certainly cite the statistics about how important it is to win the first game of a 7-game series. But individually for this team, how significant was this win and such a dominant win today?
Well, we needed to jump out to a good win. They came in, they just got through with a series. I think that we had a lot of rest, and we needed to jump off ourselves because we've been sitting a long time to make a tone for this series right now, and that's what we did. We need to keep home court advantage, and we came out and played pretty well.
How did you guys manage to shoot such an awesome percentage, 57% from the floor, against a team that's been dominant defensively in the playoffs?
Well, I think it's just luck, Hannah. I think, we just shooting the ball. I think all our team is clicking right now together. I think we start off slow, and then we get our rhythm in, and then we just start shooting the ball, and everybody has to continue to do that for us to be successful.
7 straight wins in the playoffs. Let's look at the big picture here and take it back to the first series and that Sacramento series. What did that do for your team in getting you on this roll?
I think when we lost here, we really set our tone, and then I think we got a little bit more focused. I thought we went and we didn't want anything else to happen in the first round. So when we be on the road, we be very serious, and then when we get here, I think we got to get a little bit more serious. The 7 straight wins, I think, is a compliment to our team. We're just playing basketball, and we're having fun while we're doing it.
All right, good luck the remainder of the series.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next weekend. Okay, Tom.
All right, Hannah, Payton and the Sonics handing Utah the worst loss in their playoff history. Final comments in a moment.
At first glance, what you'll notice are the powerful lines. But inside is where the new Acura RL truly distinguishes itself. With luxuries you can't imagine and quiet you can't believe. Introducing the Acura RL, the new flagship from Acura.
Ken Griffey Jr., athlete.
Hey, Nick, finish. This is a Griffey for President commercial. You know he's running for president, right? You know there's more to life than sports, man. There's politics.
He is a fabulous American hero. There has been anybody.
He got some interesting ideas about that flat tax. Check him out.
He picked the Maryland Moose as a running mate. It shows his consideration for animals.
Now, that moose could be a liability. Hey, let me tell you what. I should be his running mate. I mean, that's a good job, because you don't gotta do squat. Come on, Nick. Power to the people. Stick it to the man. No nukes. Save the whale.
Nice shot.
I've been a ball boy for the Sonics for 5 years.
You want a bounce pass?
I have a job to do just like everyone else. You got to be on top of things all game. As players check in, I pick up their stuff and fold it up. As they come out, put jackets over their heads. Once you're sitting this close, I mean, it's totally different than sitting in the stands. You're right there. It's quite a rush. Just being with the players this close, it's a pretty sweet gig. This has got to be the best job.
Next month, the championships of the USGA are on NBC. June 1st and 2nd, Annika Sorenstam defends her title against a stellar field at the U.S. Women's Open. Then, starting June 13th, witness the drama of the U.S. Open. Defending champion Corey Payton leads the field for our national championship. This June on NBC.
Seattle Sonics take a 1-game-to-none lead in the Western Conference Finals with a 102-72 victory over the Utah Jazz, the worst playoff loss in Utah history. Be sure to join us tomorrow on NBC as the NBA playoffs continue with Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Orlando Magic and the Chicago Bulls. Our coverage gets underway at 2:30 Eastern Time with NBA Showtime. Now for Steve Snapper Jones and Hannah Storm, Tom Hammond saying so long from Seattle. You've been watching the NBA on NBC.
The NBA playoffs, the U.S. Women's Open, the French Open, the U.S. Open, Wimbledon, the NBA Finals, baseball's All-Star Game, and the Olympic Games in Atlanta. The great events are all on America's sports leader, NBC.